Okay, we are good. Ready to rock and roll. All right, let me get my page up here. Get that there. Just ordered a couple bottles of resin on Amazon from Prime Day. Cool. What bottles of resin did you get? Let's give it a little bit for some people to join in here. So yes, today, oops, totally made this the wrong thing. Edit. And it is actually not Sunlu, it is J.O. Come on. What's up? How's it going? Of the massive frozen printer, so that's actually down right now. But if you give me a sec, I'll give you guys a walk around. So I'm talking to TikTok if you guys want to know. But yeah, we'll give you a quick tour around here. So it's technically broken, but it still works if I wanted to. But it needs a screen change. All right, so here it is in all of its glory. It is massive, as you can see. I have this awesome banner. Kudos to Bullet Brand for making that for me. And essentially, this is the printer in all of its glory. And I'm not going to touch it because there's still some resin on there, but yeah, essentially that's my hand. Technically, you could fit 3 build plates of like a Saturn, essentially, on there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. We got our screen right here. That is a 15-inch screen. So, hello. We are going to flip. I don't think I can edit this, actually. So you guys are just going to have it as whatever. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, well. I messed up. It's not Sunlu we're looking at. We're actually looking at JAYO. Oh, hey, what's up, Filament Stories? I would have never expected to see you on a Resin stream. But hey, who knows? Maybe we can switch the Filament Stories to Resin Stories? Either way. How's my resin printing, God? I am doing fantastic. Yes, I actually didn't even do my intro. So, what's up, everyone? It's your Resin 3D printing God back again with a review slash unboxing, quick review, I guess. We'll do an actual follow-up review, but JAYO sent us some resin, and this is actually kind of cool. This specific resin. And I'll show you why in a little bit. I think it's been enough time where everybody's here so we can actually get things rolling. Oh, you're actually on Twitch, so that's awesome. And I just realized that I actually did set up my Twitch and everything correctly in my OBS, so I could actually read your comment there. But not only that, I also use Streamlabs to stream at multiple platforms. So yes, we are on the TikToks, we are on Twitch, we are on Twitter, which I don't even know why I stream the Twitter anymore. It's kind of useless. We're on YouTube, and we're on 3 different Facebook pages as well. We're on my personal page, we're on the Kuma Mods page, and we are on the 3D Printing for Noobs group as well. So I should probably try and set up on the Resin 3D printing groups, but we'll see. So yeah, how's everybody been doing? I've been on and off sick for like the last month and a half, and now the kids are sick again, and that's fantastic. So I can't see their company name without the song JO JO Daylight Come. Oh, the Beetlejuice song. Yeah, Dale. It's Dale, but yes, I got your thing. What power percentage do you run at with your resin printers? So actually, these run pretty low. Obviously, the biggest one, the Frozen Sonic Mega. I have a power. What do they call that? Like basically something that measures the power wattage, and when it's burning, it is at 70 watts, I believe. So not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know what an FDM printer is. I should probably hook up to the Viper here behind me and see what it is, but I'm sure it'll be double if not triple. So, all right, stay close to your air filter to keep the sickness away. Yeah, I know. I have my my air filter right behind me, so I was actually just thinking that to myself, like I should probably crank that up and see if that'll help me. So, because usually I have it on low for the most part, because I usually only run like 2 or 3 printers at a time, and then I run 2 or 3 printers at another time, and so on and so forth. And some of these they haven't even seen action in a while because I don't use them because of these 2 big printers behind me, and now I have another big printer, and then I have another similar size printer right below that, the Uniformation GK1. So let me get you guys up and out of the way here for a quick second so I can see everything. Yeah, not Dale, but it just rhymes. Yes, I got where you were coming from. Sorry, I meant the UV power. I'm told 80% is ideal. So I've never touched that ever. Now, from what I'm told, is it saves the LCD screen. But I'll be honest, I've had several printers throughout my time. Like, if I really thought about it, I probably had about 50 some odd resin printers in the past 3.5 years I've been doing this. And not once have I detuned the power source. The only time that I ever heard that is from Anycubic guys. And when I heard it, I was like, what? Why would you nerf a printer? And Anycubic basically came back and said, oh, well, they do that to save the LCD screen. And I'm like, okay, I have a printer here. Now, granted, it's my WeBox, so it's on a different level than any of these other printers here. Okay, with maybe the Uniformation GK1 is about as close as they're getting, and the Nova 3D, which is another one that's kind of close to that, because those are technically dental printers, so they're on a different structural level and parts level. Anyway, that printer I printed at 100% UV for its entire life, and I've replaced 1 screen and 1 FEP, and it's had 1 failure in its entire lifetime. And even if it was my fault, it's a failure regardless. So anyway, I've never done that. I don't think there's a need to be honest. But if you want to, that's fine. But it's just kind of strange. Like, why would you build a printer and have the ability to detune the light source? That doesn't make sense to me. In my opinion, if you're gonna nerf the light source, then that means you're gonna have higher exposure times because you're not putting out enough UV rays. That's just my 2 cents thought on it. So it was explained to me that it can also help cut down on light bleed, which would limit overcuring. So that right there doesn't make sense to me. And the only reason why, and I'm not trying to be like a D about it, but I'm more or less educational wise, and it may come off as I'm a D for it, but it is what it is. Anyway, if you properly tune your resin exposure settings, it shouldn't ever have to have an issue with that, overcuring at least. So the overcuring more or less stems when you're actually curing it. So a lot of people do overcure because they cure for like 15 to 20 minutes. I use the 666 method. Yes, I know. Crazy. But essentially, it's 6 minutes wash, 6 minutes dry, 6 minutes cure. And it's, obviously, you'll have to adjust that depending on model size. But for the most part, if you're doing small models, okay. But if you start getting up to like the Anycubic, the M3 and the Mega, okay, you might have to put on a couple more minutes here or there. But I've never really gone over 10 minutes, and you can clearly see the differences between it. So 6 minutes is usually like my sweet spot. So what's up, everybody? Sorry, I'm kind of ignoring all of you, but hello, everyone. Anyway, now you're good. I'm new to resin printing. Perfect. I'm here to try and educate as best as I possibly can. Now, I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't do the UV thing. It's just, again, in my experience, it's kind of like, okay, think about a light. If you dim down a light to 80%, can you see as well? No. But for like photography, that works. So maybe there's something behind it that I'm not seeing that in that sense, okay. But like the light bleed thing, I can kind of see that. But again, that's that I just don't know about, because that goes with the LCD screen. The LCD screen is, these are essentially MSLA, and that stands for masking stereolithography. And essentially, you are using the LCD to create a mask of whatever you're printing. So if I'm printing something and I just want to print my eyes, okay, then I'm going to cover everything up, and just only the lights are going to shine in my eyes. That looks real creepy. Anyway, so that's essentially what you do. Now, again, dimming the light source, I would think, would increase your time because you're not getting enough curing done on those prints. So I'll have to look around and maybe play with that, but I think I am right in that sense, where it seems like it'll make things a little bit worse. I understand the aspect of longevity to your printer and everything, but in my opinion, most of these machines will see thousands of hours of printing before anything bad happens, unless it's user error. What I mean like bad happens is like a cause from something that the printer did. The thing about resin printers, and what I absolutely love, is about 98% of errors are caused by the user. And I don't mean to call people out and like trigger them in any way, but that's really legitimately what it is. And I would say probably 90% of that is caused by improper exposure time. And that's why I try and educate people. And that's usually the first thing I ask if anybody comes at me and they're like, hey, my prints are failing, my supports are just sticking. Very rarely is it a machine issue. It's usually one of three parts to a user error. It is exposure time, support settings, or print orientation. Or we can even throw a fourth one in there where the supports don't match the print itself. So what I mean by that is, like, obviously, if you're used to using medium supports on most of your stuff and you print basically miniatures, and you go and you print a full-size bust, and it's not hollowed, it's a solid print, obviously the weight is going to impact that. So that's another thing I guess I can kind of throw in there is weight, but usually I try and give the user the benefit of the doubt on that one. I probably should just add it in just to be on the safe side, but hey, that's just me. It is easier than FDM. I agree 100% that is easier than FDM. I really like resin printing because you dial in the settings, and once you start to get to know supports and print orientation, and then you got your settings dialed in, it's smooth sailing. And once you get that down, you're good with any machine that you're good to go. So that's what I absolutely love is, like, with FDM printing, if there's a problem, it could be like 20 different things for that one thing. A clogged nozzle, take that for example. It can be several things. It can be bad tolerances with the filament. It can be a clogged nozzle. It could be a partially clogged nozzle, which is even more of a disaster. It can be the PTFE tube not seating correctly, which is causing the clog. It can be that the hot end is not screwed in all the way, so it's oozing out of the side because it's not properly seated up against each other. So a broken extruder or a bad extruder, a bad motor, which I'll be honest, I've never ever replaced a motor on a printer. Let me just verify. Yes, I've never replaced a motor. I've replaced a board because I blew it using a wire brush while I was heating it to try and remove stuff, and sparks flew everywhere, and yeah, that's basically it. So tip for the FDM guys, don't use a wire brush while you're heating your hot end and trying to brush it all off, because smoke will fly, and you're going to have a bad day. You're going to either blow the thermistor, heater cartridge, or possibly your board. In my case, it was a board, and it was a bad day. But it was an easy fix because I had an extra one. So anyway, let's get on to why we are here. So JAYO has sent us some new resin that they brought out here, and these are very interesting, and I'll show you in a second here. But essentially, this is just standard gray. It's nothing spectacular. So we're going to try it out, test it, see how it is durability-wise, and kind of give you guys a little bit of review. This will just be kind of an initial impression, unboxing type thing, as I normally do. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. So let's take it out of the box and see how it goes. All right, so initial boxing looks pretty good. We got it nice and packaged up. It looks like we got a bag with some filters in it. I could definitely use some extra ones. I personally use a stainless steel one, so I never really have to use these, but hey, they're always nice to have around in case that's still dirty and I forget to wash it. You guys can kind of see it right there, at least the people on YouTube and Twitch and wherever you guys are. But yeah, anyway, let's get this bottle out of here. This is kind of heavy. Ugh. So nicely packaged. We have a basically a bubble wrap that goes around the entire thing. Very, very nice and very, very spongy like. So we got nice air cushion. And essentially, we have our bottle of resin. So this looks kind of funny because it just reminds me, I'm a car guy, or at least I used to be. I still am. You know, I still check up on cars, but it's just kind of funny that it looks like a bottle of oil, essentially. So, just funny to me. But anyway, it's nice that it's double packs and everything, so that way you get it all nice and yummy-like. And this one is the gray color, and it is a 2,000 gram, I think. Basically, yeah, 2,000 G. So this is basically 2 bottles of resin, or for those who are just getting in and getting the 500 gram bottles, these little small ones, they are essentially 4 of those inside of this little jug. So that's kind of nice to have, especially for those who are getting into the bigger printers. And, you know, it's kind of, the industry is shifting into bigger printers in general. Case in point, like the Frozen Sonic Mighty 8K, or the Elegoo Saturn II, or the Anycubic M3 Plus or M3 Max, as I have, or even the big boy, the Frozen Sonic Mega, which this would be perfect for, because the Frozen Sonic Mega technically has a vat that will hold 1.75 liters per its instructions, but once the build plate goes down, you can technically get away with filling it with this entire bottle. So that's kind of nice to have. So for my Frozen Sonic Mega peeps, you know, this would be a perfect bottle of resin for anybody that's literally just starting a print and they want to have a full vat. That'll fill the Frozen Sonic Mega perfectly. So favorite brand of resin so far. So I don't really have a favorite. There's certain ones that I use for specific things. So I do have a lot of new resins that I need to try out, and I just don't have enough time to do everything. But essentially, I have some like high heat temp resin. I have some crystal clear resin to test out. I have some nylon resin to test out. So we have a lot of different ones to go through. But essentially, like I said, there's not a specific one that I'm like, this is my go-to one, because again, every single one has its specific use. Take, for example, like the Frozen Sonic Mega 8, Mighty or Mega or Mini 8Ks. Those are 8K printers. So you probably want to use 4K or 8K resin for a little bit higher detail. But again, your eyes are not going to see that type of detail. It's more or less a marketing gimmick for normal people. But essentially, if you use like a macro lens on your camera, you will be able to see that type of detail. So it'll be very, very nice. What's up, Ben? What's up, Lily? So our JAYO person is here, actually. So thank you, Lily, for the awesome bottle of resin. So this is kind of nice for those people who don't know lefty loosey, righty tighty, or just forget about it. It does have an open and close. So let me grab some. Oh, I hope I have some. I ordered some gloves. I do have extra ones upstairs, but they're not as nice as this. I have one singular glove, really. How dare that happen to me? I probably took one out and didn't realize. Or my daughter came down here and wore one. So, because she likes to do that. But these gloves are very, very nice. I haven't really touted too much about them, but essentially these are going to be my go-to gloves. I used to get free gloves because my wife works in a medical fields, and she used to just bring home gloves at her leisure. And while they were nice, because, you know, free is nice to have, these actually provide a little bit more protection in terms of like cutting. Now, I'm not saying they're cut proof, but they definitely hold up a lot better when I'm removing supports from very sharp resin prints or very sharp resin supports. And they just tend to hold up a little bit better than regular nitrile gloves that I've had, like the blue ones. The blue ones, you know, they'll just rip right open. These, they usually, you can feel they have a little bit more oomph to them. So I do highly suggest these. So Eagle Prince 3D. All right, so let's go ahead and get this open. And we're going to use the Frozen Sonic Mighty 4K right here, because it is my closest printer that I have that does not currently have a resin inside of it. So let's go ahead and put this back here. And let me set up the camera so you guys can see what is going on, if it'll let me, which it won't, of course. My Stream Deck is not playing well with me. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, you can. Okay. Something's kind of wonky with this. Hold on, let me technical difficulties. There we go. All right, so we get to kind of have a picture-in-picture. Where is that? All right, so essentially, you guys on TikTok, I'll try and maneuver you a little bit. Say here. Get that all set up. Yeah. There we go. All right, so essentially, we're just going to go ahead and pour some of this resin in. Nice and smooth. All right, and we're basically going to do some simple exposure tests. Volume is fine. TikTok is choppy for me, but YouTube and Twitch are fine. Yeah, I think that might be my phone because I'm using like an older, useless phone, essentially. My Google Pixel 4 XL. And it was giving me issues, which is why I upgraded. And I was like, oh, we'll just use that. And it's kind of so-so. But all right, so let's go ahead. And I think I have some test prints files loaded up on here already. Make sure we are all set, ready to rock and roll. And okay, so I have a general one. We have 3.0 and 30, but we're going to go ahead and change this really quick to 2.2 is my usual go-to. All right. So now we are printing at 2.2 seconds a layer with 30 seconds per bottom. Let me try and move this a little bit out of the way here. Get it a little bit smaller. I'll move you guys closer so you guys can see what's going on right next to the peeps on TikTok. All right. So that's pretty much what we're doing right now. You guys can stick around. This should only be like a 20-minute print, if that. So it shouldn't take too long. Now this resin is a I guess more of a lighter gray. So just to kind of compare it to another gray, like as you can see, it's almost the same color as the build plate, whereas this is like a much darker gray. You guys can see that. So much darker. That is everyone. I don't know how to say their name. I'm terrible at it. But that's their resin. I think this is the same one, which is essentially, again, totally different color, as you can see, much lighter. So like I said, there's different applications for certain things. And another great tool to have if you're doing resin printing, unlike filament, you can actually create your own colors on demand. And the other possibility, and I say this with the utmost, be very careful with what you are doing. You can add glitters or pearlescent colors to your resins with using these type of things, which you guys have probably seen, like It's Boy in Space use this, which this one is a chameleon powder magic white, which essentially is like a pearlescent color. And then we have like the purple fuchsia, which for some reason, definitely in black, it does not come out very well. Oh, and I finally bought a new flashlight, so I can try and show off the prints, because I do have some really cool prints here, like these little guys that I printed off. They're like little reapers, essentially. And the reason why I printed these guys off is I was at Medieval Times about a month ago, and they had these little bunny rabbits in hoodies, and they had like what do they call that? Like the Edith and Wartha, the Day of the Dead. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but the Day of the Dead type like masks on them. And I was like, oh, I remember somebody made something like that. And I came across this this creator, and her name slips my mind, but she's got some really cool like simple prints like this. And I was like, yes, I'm definitely gonna download that. So I had some black resin, and I added some mica powder in it, but unfortunately you can't really see the sparkle in it. I got to get something to try and get that sparkle to shine a little bit more, because it's not showing up on camera very well, no matter what I do in this lighting condition. So let me clean up my work area here. Geez. What happens when I haven't been down working here for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I'll just leave things laying around and let it be. All right. Not that, you know, my place is a disaster anyways in the background here. But, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at some pricing on this, and I'll kind of talk you guys ear off about it. Let's see here. I thank you guys for coming in on the Twitch here. By the way, I'm trying to get that kind of up and off the ground. Okay. Anyway, let's go to Amazon and let's go to JAYO. Yeah, so that's 2,000 grams or 2 kilograms, which is actually priced pretty nicely, I'd say. So let's. Are you going to work for me? Main monitor? So apparently my Stream Deck just does not want to work today. That's fantastic. We're doing it old school. All right. So here we have Amazon. So essentially, you can buy 2 bottles of resin. That you know, that's kind of cool and everything, but that takes up a lot of room. And for technically $1 cheaper, you can buy a bottle of the 2,000 and just have one whole bottle at your disposal. And look, hey, I actually did purchase this. Now, in full disclosure, they did refund me money for it, so just to do some product placement. But as of right now, they do just have gray and black in those colors. Black obviously is a little bit more expensive by $2, and gray is, you know, $41.99, and black is $43.99. So you do spend a little bit more money because of the black pigmentation, but yeah, very, very nice. So here's some points that I guess they kind of tout about a little bit. Let me make sure I'm pulling up everything. I didn't know they made 2 kilogram bottles. Exactly why we're doing this stream, because a lot of people don't. This is actually a very new thing. And I'm sorry for my people in TikTok that you guys can't see this. Would you guys rather me show the screen, or are you guys good watching the print go down here? Let me know. Anyway, so yes, they just started making 2 kilogram bottles. Obviously, there's a lot of companies out there that do 5 kilogram bottles, which a lot of people don't have that kind of dinero to, you know, get a 5 kilogram bottle, because those are kind of expensive. So anyway, let's get back to what they basically boast about their resin. Excellent. It's okay. I can read today. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Excellent fluidity. Oh, said that right. Fast curing, low odor, high precision, and low shrinkage. So these are all great points, but are they actually points that, you know, really do that? I don't know. But I will say right now, low odor, I pretty much smell nothing off of this. Fast curing, that's, in my opinion, just kind of a marketing thing, because all resin is going to cure at the same fast thing. If it's under 2.5 though, then yeah, it's a little bit faster than others. So we'll see. Like I said, we got a print running at 2.2 right now, so we'll see how fast that actually is. Fluidity is definitely right. It is definitely more flowy than most of the resins that I use. Not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but just for those people who are in colder climates, you will have to keep an eye on stuff like this, because with resin that has less, what do we want to call that, like coagulity, you know, obviously it's going to lower the temperature quicker. So you just have to be a little bit careful where you're printing this stuff. And I mean, that's resin in general, but essentially this might be a little bit less than what you are expecting for resin. Wow, that is awesome. Thank you. So yeah, Let's see what else we got. So their recommended print settings are bottom exposure 10 to 60. Now, this is great that they actually give this because um, this actually is going to be determined on how much you want your print to stick, essentially. Now, I kind of live on the edge and I do like 30 on my bottom exposure time. That usually seems to be a pretty good in between of 10 and 60. And my prints seem to stick. But obviously, if you're having some sticking issues, you can probably turn that up to 40 on most of the newer printers. If you have an older printer, then 60 is pretty much your maximum you ever want to go on a printer. And then it says normal exposure time can be anywhere between 2 and 4 seconds. Now, if it's boasting about fast curing, well, then we're looking for more on the 2 second range. So if we're under like 2.5, I'd say 2.7 at the max, we're good. That's pretty good. So resin parameters, hardness is 80 to 85D. I'll be honest, I don't really know the intricacies of shore hardness and things like that, but that seems to be like the standard from what I've seen on most resins. Lifting distance, it says 6 to 10. That's essentially there to let you know about how much flow rate you want to have for the resin. So if you allow 6 to 10 millimeters to lift up, that gives it, X amount of time for that resin to flow back in so you can print the next layer. Does this really matter? Sometimes. It's in rare cases. It all depends on how your profile is set up. If you're someone looking for speed distances, okay, then this stuff is going to matter. All of these parameters are going to matter quite a lot. If you're just using stock settings and you're not changing any major machine settings, you might be okay. So flexure strength, 25 to 45 MPa. And this is where I kind of get lost because a lot of people use different loading strengths. They all say the same thing, but some use like MPa and some of them use like a different one. I forget the name of it. But it's kind of hard to figure out who's using what and the conversion and everything. So this is where I kind of get lost. But again, according to like standard resin, I want to say standard resin is usually at around 30. So this is right in between there. And the same thing for in the extension strength. Now, elongation, that's something I usually don't see too much, especially on a standard resin setting. And that says 5 to 15%. So that's actually pretty good. So if you're worried about like stretching anything, like if you're printing something that's very, very thin, and you're worried about it cracking at any point in time, you have a 5 to 15% flexibility to have that working. So that's very, very nice. All right. So tips for photopolymer resin: shaking well the resin before using. It's weird wording, but it works. Wearing gloves and masks to use resin. Storing under a shading place. Keep a ventilated environment. Keeping away from children. Minimizing the dust and UV rays affecting on curing. So yes, obviously you want to keep away UV because you're going to have a bad day. It's going to cure your resin. So excuse me here for a second. Hi Kumamad, how's your day going? We're going pretty good. We're doing a live stream here on YouTube, on Twitch, Twitter, whatever, wherever. So so yeah, just kind of going back to the information that they provided at the top here, a little bit more insight if you guys need some verification. So it says JAYO 405 NM rapid photosensitive resin helps you reduce printing time with its excellent fluidity. Apparently I can't talk today. It can bring you fluent printing experience and exquisite printing models due to its great resin material and smooth pattern detail. Which those excuse me, still battling a little bit of a cold. So essentially that kind of goes back to the flexure strength, the hardness, extension strength, and the elongation, kind of a combination of that. So it also says low shrinkage. Low volume shrinkage advantage of polymer resin can ensure printed resin models in a high precision standard. And from the perspective of the resin model, you can get a perfect surface detail, integrity, visual experience. So that's kind of what it is. But when you're talking about low shrinkage, a lot of people think like, all right, I'm going to design a model at 5 millimeters. I'm going to print it. It should be at 5 millimeters. With resin, there tends to be like, okay, it may come out at 5 millimeters, but once you start washing and curing it, that's going to shrink a little bit because all resins do shrink in some way, shape, or form. May not be a lot, may not be, or maybe more. It all depends on the type of resin. And that kind of goes back to what's your favorite resin? It all depends on what the use I'm doing. I have lots of different resins that I favorite over most. And I will tell you that most of the time, if I use a resin, it's just going to be like a regular type resin. It's not going to be anything special. So a standard resin, essentially. So here it gives you a little bit more insight of the viscosity. That's essentially the same thing of the fluidity of the resin viscosity. So it says 100 to 350. I'll be honest, I've never ever looked at that on a resin at all. But hey, you know, if you're somebody who's more in tuned with this type of information, well, then this is great for you. And essentially, this is all the same stuff that we were just looking at before for the exposure time, lifting height, all this stuff, all the flexibility in it. Bottom layers, it says 3 to 5. I usually have mine at 5. That's usually the max or the lowest I'll go on anything. So let's see here. Standard resin recommended settings. So here it actually kind of breaks down a little bit better for people who need to figure out what type of resin printer they have. So most of the resin printers nowadays are going to be monochrome panels. There are still a few that are being sold under the RGB panel, but it's very, very few. And if you do, it's usually the cheaper ones. Nowadays, like I said, it's mostly mono panels. But if you have like an Anycubic Photon or a Photon S, that's going to be RGB. An original Elegoo Mars, that's RGB. So as you can see, the time frames change quite vastly between the monochrome and the RGB. And the same thing goes for the bottom exposure, 20 to 30, 30 to 80. Again, I usually use mine at 30, and I usually use this at 60 if I am. My exposure times on mono printers are usually anywhere between 2 to 3.5 seconds, depending on the resin. And sometimes even a few are down at 1.8. And for RGB, it's usually 6 to 8 seconds, depending on the resin. Very rarely do I have to go up into the 15-second range, and if I do, it's a special resin. It's not a standard, a hard, an ABS. It's usually like an engineering resin, very, very expensive. So they have several specifications like 500, 1,000, and 2,000. Yes, they do. So right now we're just focusing on the 2,000 gram, but yes, if you're looking for different resins, you can also get a smaller bottle, larger bottle, or an extra large bottle. So they do have different sizes for anybody who is looking to budget their resin printing experience. So excuse me here for a second while I check chat. All right. So now it says light color series and dark color series. So this is another thing that people tend to miss a lot when it comes to resin printing. And basically, when you are printing with a light color, now this is gray, so technically it's a light gray, so we can probably put this in the light color. But if we had a black, okay, our resin exposure times are going to change different from 2.4 2 to 4 seconds to 2.2 to 2.4. So as you can see, there's different things that are going to change with these printers. And again, this is going to vary from printer to printer as well. So not all of these type of prints are going to be exactly the same on every single printer. So like I said, my usual go-to is 2.2 for every single resin, and that's just to do a base setting. Now, if you're someone who uses what I call the cheat sheets and you use like the Excel documentations, use those as starting points and tune your resin from there. I guarantee your prints will come out much better if you tune. Because not every single printer is created equal. Not every bottle of resin is created equal. Even if they are from the same manufacturer, same person, same day, same time, same batch, whatever, everything will vary differently. So as you can see now, we do have our print that is finished. We're going to let that raise up and try and drip it off here in a little bit. But yeah, essentially, that's something that I usually tell people is, you know, they go a lot of times from like a white resin to a black or a dark gray resin, and they're like, oh well, my stuff was printing great with white at this exposure time, but now it's failing. Well, that's because there are differences, and even though you may think, oh well, two seconds to 2.2 seconds, that's not going to matter. It really does matter. It may print, but your details will be lost. So essentially, if I took a black color and I used the white color settings, there's a possibility that we're going to be underexposing. So let's say it actually is at 2.2 seconds, okay, for a black resin. And I go and I use a black resin and I use the white color settings. Well, what's going to happen is we're going to underexpose. And again, even though the print will print and it'll look perfectly fine, if you held it up against a properly tuned dark setting, you would notice the difference in the slight details that you are missing, because essentially it's kind of like having 5 layers of shading when you're coloring, and you're missing one of those layers. So it looks okay, but something looks a little off. You know, it's kind of like that. Or like for my people that wear glasses, you know, it's kind of like I have glasses that I technically don't need, but I should wear. Like I can see fine with it, but there are some times where it's just like hard to see and focus. So essentially, that's the same thing where, you know, you can try and focus a little bit, but the detail is just not quite there. And then you put your glasses on and you're like, wow, I see the detail now. You know, it's a little bit better. I can actually see that. So that's kind of cool that it has that. And again, we have some videos here. This is a flash forge printer printing on it. Let's see. We have let's click on JAYO's video and see what we have to say about this. So I actually have that little tiny model. Sunlu sent me that. So if you guys do or do not know, JAYO is a byproduct of Sunlu. They are another manufacturer of Sunlu. So that's why you see a lot of stuff that is Sunlu type labeled as JAYO or vice versa, because they're essentially the same. And yes, I have this exact model sitting somewhere around here. Uh-oh, did the little one steal it? May have. It was just up here because I just did a video with it. But yeah, essentially that's what it is. And JAYO is great. So here's somebody kind of setting up a print, getting ready to go. They have a bottle of Sunlu. Again, it's essentially the same thing with JAYO, and as you can see, the Sunlu bottles of resin have the same thing. Here's some images of some prints. Now, I will tell you right now, this looks pretty good, but there's some areas where it looks a little soft to me. Like these lines should be more seeable, especially on this arm. Like that looks pretty good, but these look kind of soft to me. So it looks like they might be a little bit under. Yeah, see, like these like little beads underneath here are a little bit too soft for me. You still get all the details and everything, but it's not bad. It's close, but I think you're just a tad bit off with everything. So this kind of shows it a little bit. You see like there's some pieces missing of this these wings. where, yeah, there's supposed to be a line there, but it's not supposed to be as abrupt. It's supposed to be like an overlaying line. So you see there's some of that missing. So you can tell that that is underexposed. Okay. So again, I'm not trying to be like ridicule somebody like, ah, you're doing it wrong. But if they took a little bit more time, they might have a little bit better results. So, and there's essentially what clear resin looks like when it is way overexposed. It turns yellow. Now, most times clear resin does yellow a little bit, but it shouldn't be this yellow. This is way overexposed. So it does look kind of cool though. That's a painted model, so that's kind of hard to base anything off of. And some people just saying this is much better than any cubic resin, which I'm not sure means anything. I don't have a lot of experience with resins yet, but it printed this very complex miniature without a problem. Stuff is tough too. That's good. And this one actually looks pretty good. Like a lot of these details come through. I don't see too many soft edges, maybe a little bit here and there. So again, we might be just a tad under, but I think that looks pretty good. All the hands look like they came out. So that looks like a pretty good model. That is a nice model right there. So, haha, little robot. Where have I seen that guy from? Is that Invader Zim? Yo, what's up, everyone? How's it going? What are you making? So we're actually testing out some new resin from JAYO. This stuff right here. Let me show you guys. This stuff right here, we're actually doing our first test print on it. And thanks to our trusty print from a FlashForge Adventure 3, we can use this to drip off our resin a little bit. So we just kind of slip this on, put it on there, and let that drain off. A little messy. So that way we can drip off our resin a little bit and go from there. So that's what clear resin should look like. Now, when we overexpose it, that's what it kind of turns into. Now, this is more or less like a sun setting, so I don't think that's really the yellowing effect. I think that's just more or less the light bleeding through there. But yeah, if you leave it out in the sun too much, it will do that without proper UV clear coats and things like that. So these models look pretty basic. Obviously, I can see that was made in Tinkercad. Looks like some sort of sword or something that they're putting together. Not too bad. So this is their other 1,000-gram bottle. That's a test print. So somebody actually test printed their resin. So as you can see, this is overexposed. So I have a problem with this type of calibration because it's kind of hard to read these at times. And to top it all off, these tend to fail a lot. So they leave these little pieces inside the resin vat. I'm not a big fan of that. So, but you can see these are supposed to be basically lines that interbind each other. So you can see there's like, this is all a solid piece, and then we start getting slight cut, and then we start getting a cut, like 2 or 3 in. And then the other giveaway is this teardrop here in the center. You kind of see that these are touching too much. So they're essentially supposed to be tip to tip, and that's how it's supposed to look like. So that one, again, is a little bit overexposed. You can see. I think that's the same one, though. Let's see. This one actually looks pretty good. That's a nice color. I like that. That is a nice red, too. These are all nice colors. I like these. There we go. I believe that's the gray that we're working with right now. So that is a nice blue. I like that a lot. It's not as vibrant as my other blue that I have here, but that looks very, very nice. So essentially, out of all these people, I see one person kind of doing the right thing. So, and again, I'm not here to ridicule anybody, but that's one thing I always tell everybody is always make sure that you are calibrating your resin, because that can make or break anything right from the word get-go. So, all right, let's see here. Just catching up on some TikTok chats here. that's my go-to resin now. They sent me a bottle, and since then I've switched to it. Well, that's great, good news. It's good news that we have a viewer here that actually uses this resin and has some experience with it. So essentially, as you guys can see right now, we're letting this drip a little bit so we can basically take it off and verify if this is a good print or not. I think this is pretty good right now. We'll see. We'll see how good it looks once everything's kind of more dripped off. We'll have to clean up a little bit. The resin printout surface looks delicate. The resin printout surface looks delicate. You mean the print here? It's meant to be basically very thin layers and a fast print to calibrate your resin settings. So it kind of looks delicate, but I assure you, it is very, very nice and handy out there. I will I'll show you guys a print that I did for some rich opto purple, but you can see we didn't cure this. We just kind of washed it, and yeah, you can see it's not terrible. Got some give to it. Got some bend, but again, this is very thin layers and it's not cured. So it's going to do that automatically. All right. So I think that's pretty much it for the resin main side. Let's see if my my thing is going to work here. Should we do main camera? Yeah, my stream deck is like frozen or something. I don't know. It doesn't like me. We'll have to reset it. Oop, that's not what I wanted. All right. So yeah, that's essentially the breakdown of JAYO's resin. And like I said, it is currently $43.99 right now. I don't see any deals going on, but I'm sure they have some discounts or whatnot going on from time to time. So, and again, you don't necessarily have to pick up the 2 kilogram bottle or 2,000 gram bottle. You can also pick up the 500 gram bottles, which, excuse me, let's take a look and see. So it looks like they have like transparent in 500 gram. That is $16, which is pretty good. For 1,000 grams, you have beige, which is $24.99. You have black, which is $22.99. You have gray, which is $21.99, and those are the older bottles. Translucent green, which is $27.99, and translucent red, which is $30.99. So that's a really, really nice color. Very, very vibrant color. I like that a lot. Can't wait to see the resin models. Yes, absolutely. So almost done dripping off here. So let's get this all situated so we can remove this and get it all ready to rock and roll so we can remove the print. All right, so I'm gonna move you guys over here. You guys can kind of see what's going on. What's going on, Mikal? There we go. So this is my kind of work area. I have a silicone mat that I work on, and then I do have some paper towels from time to time on here just to sop up any extra resin that's, you know, laying down on these prints and whatnot. So we'll have to see how this goes. But let's go ahead and get this removed. Get up underneath there, and I'd say that looks pretty good. Like I said, we're at 2.2 and 30, and they say anywhere between 2 and 4 seconds will be pretty good. But like I said, they say that it's supposed to be fast, so we'll see how well they actually say that is. We're going to go ahead and put it in our wash station here. Just going to go ahead and just kind of wash it around. I don't really do much with these. I don't cure them or anything, go above the distance. As long as they're washed very good, we can see all the details that we need to. So it's just kind of a very quick print. Cover that back up so we don't have any spills. And let that dry for a second. But I'd say that looks pretty good right out of the box. I think we hit it. Oh, no, we're underexposed. I'll show you guys exactly how we see that. So we're not much underexposed, but we are. And I'll show you exactly how that looks. Let me see if I can speed up our time. I might have to... I have my exposure set at 2.3 for your M3 Max. Now, you have it set there, but have you actually calibrated your resin? Or did you just set it like that? Not saying it's, you know, you won't get a print off of it, but you might be losing detail if you don't have it properly calibrated. So, I like the JAYO. Yeah, I keep hearing that. So, I have an M3 Max as well. But currently it is awaiting a screen protector before we start printing with it again, because I'm not going to go down that road of destroying a printer, much as I did with the Frozen Mega. Sorry for the loud noises. The battery on this thing has seen better days. Can't blame it out of a year. All right, so this is going to be kind of hard to see in this camera, but let me see if I can maybe try and adjust some things. I might have to hold it up to the main camera here to show you guys, but focus. There we go. Oh, it did it nice. So as you can see, right under, like between the better and then, at the bottom here, you see there's like a gap in there. That's sorry, my dog is down here and move some stuff. Anyway, sorry. Let's see if we can get this zoomed in. You see there's like a gap on that bottom rail there, and I'll show you guys here if this will zoom in. So essentially there's a gap right there in the between the better and then. And you may think, oh, well, that's okay. Everything else looks good. Yeah, it does. But that means that we're losing a little bit of detail. That's, again, going to that soft part. And there's the same thing on the top here. You can kind of see right there. We're losing some detail there. We're losing some lines. So we're going to jack this up a little bit, and we're going to put it at, so this was at 2.2. And again, you know, you may think that it's not going to do much, but if we run another print at 2.5, it may change completely and be right where we need it to. So we're going to send this at 2.5 and we're going to do another exposure test. How do you calibrate the resin? So I use the Frozen 3D calibration print just because it is the easiest to print. And I usually set my exposure times at 2.2 and 30 for normal exposure and bottom time on a monochrome screen. And essentially, you just let it print. And you have to look at all aspects. So the main thing we're going to look at is the lettering on the bottom of the print. And you can kind of see that it came out pretty well, but it is a little bit thinned out. So we want that just a tad bit thicker, but not too much. And the easy way to tell if it's too thick is look at the E, the A, B, C, D, E on the lettering. Any E on this lettering, if that kind of like merges into the next letter, then you know it's a little bit overexposed. If it's underexposed, you can kind of see there's like gaps around the borders here, and it's more predominant in the top here. Like there's a lot of gap issues on the top there. And, you know, that'll tell you right then and there that it's underexposed. So again, we might be able to get a print off of this. I mean, essentially, we did get a print, but I mean, if we did a supported print, you know, it would probably print and be okay. But there's a possibility that something might fail, or this might happen to a lot of people where you go in to support something, you print it, and just the support show up. Well, that's what this more or less is underexposure. You have too too liquidy of a resin to adapt to that um, the supports. So that's why it looks like nothing has even attached to the supports, but the supports printed fine. That's because the support density is very, very light, usually on stock settings. So out of anything, supports are going to print. If nothing is printing, well, then we have to start from square one. That can be a whole other leveling thing, but usually you'll get a print like this no matter what. As long as you level it, you're good to go. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and set off another print. And again, as I usually tell everybody, it usually takes about roughly a half hour to dial in a bottle of resin. And that resin exposure time will probably work for every single bottle of resin that you buy for a year straight, as long as it is the same resin, same manufacturer, that type of thing. However, like lately, people like Elegoo, they had an issue where they changed formulations on some of their resins. And so people who are using specific exposure times, guess what? All their stuff started failing out of nowhere and they were losing their mind because they're like, I love this stuff. I bought it specifically because of this, because it works. Well, it did work. And then they changed the formula. So now the exposure times went from 2.0 to 2.5. That is a vast difference. That's like going from a Chevy Cavalier to maybe like a low end Ferrari. Like that is the speed difference is vastly different, and just the way that things go together. So that's why I usually do these prints, and I usually, like I said, set mine at 2.2 and 30 because that's a good mid range for most resins that are standard resins. When I say standard, is like if you're using any type of regular colored resin, whether it be ABS, standard resin, model resins, things like that, that's usually a pretty good, in between. If you're using like engineering resins or higher end, heavier resins or additives, you might want to bump that up to like 2.5 or 3.0 even, because you're using an additive that is changing the actual resin chemical properties as well. So, but yeah, these prints, they usually take anywhere on a monochrome screen. They should usually take about 20 minutes at the max. Now, with the M3 Max, I will say that I have a speed profile set up for that. And I believe I did release it on the Anycubic M3 Max group. So it is there. And if you want to download that, just go ahead and look for that profile, and it'll give you a much faster printing experience without sacrificing any details. Now, details are going to be dependent on what we're doing right now, and that's calibrating the resin. Again, this exposure time, we can probably get a print going, but I'm going to properly calibrate it as quickly as I possibly can. Now, can we go even further into um, calibrating it? Absolutely. Like, take the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K I have. Their exposure time for their test print is so insanely dialed in. I've never went that far on dialing in. And I mean like they've dialed it down to like the micrometer, whatever you want to call it, the minute little calibration. Like it's literally like 1.7 point or 1.76532189625, and I'm not even joking about that. Like if I pulled up the SD card contents and I pulled up that print, you'd be like, that is insane. Like that probably took you a month to get that dialed in, but it produces some insane results for that test print, and rightfully so, because at the time, they were the only people out there that had 4K, and it took a year for anybody to get close to them for 4K resin printing at that type of detail level. And that would be Elegoo with their Mars 3. So it's been a year since 4K has been out on that high of detail level. Anyway, I just ordered my first resin printer, got the Anycubic Mono SQ for $99. Hopefully I can figure resin out. That is a great price, and I did see that for the Anycubic Mono SQ. It is the oddball of the resin printing, not in a bad way. It's kind of a good thing because it's more of a square plate than it is a rectangle, right? That's what a box usually looks like your hand. That's a rectangle, right? I always forget. But essentially, the Mono SQ is one of the oddball ones where it's more of a square plate than anything, which is, again, it's great for printing because you can do things that other printers can't. However, the downside of the Mono SQ is it's not highly supported because it was just kind of like the oddball. And at that time, they had the Anycubic Ultra, so a lot of people were just kind of hesitant to buy it because the Ultra was supposed to be the game changer, and as far as I know, it didn't do anything. So, but anyway, yes, $99 is a great deal for any resin printer, especially an Anycubic printer. Even if it was older printer, that's still a deal. Like if you bought a Photon right now for $99 and it was brand new, that's a steal, and that's older technology. So that's a great deal. If you need any help, I'm always here, Josh. Just ask. I had that issue with Elegoo Standard Gray. I did everything to solve my fails. Turned out it was the new resin bottle. So another thing I want to touch on about any Elegoo specifically. So I showed you guys a little bit earlier about how they have their exposure times up there, and they have the specific times between mono and RGB. Well, there's a reason for that, because obviously there's two vastly different times. With RGB screens, you're essentially going through the colors of rainbow to produce an image, whereas monochrome screens is just black and white. So you're just going through those two colors and that's it. And really, I think it's more or less just the white color that you're going through, because I don't think black is a color, or maybe it's white that's not color. I forget. One of them. So that's why they can print so much faster, is because they don't have to go through all those colors of the rainbow. Now, the difference that they produce over like Elegoo resins, and I don't know why they still have them on there, but these resin bottles, let's see if they even have it on there. I didn't even check. So they do have their exposure times on here, and they do have both of them. So that's actually very good. So on here they have RGB or colored LCD exposure times, and then they also have BW LCD times, which is great, because unfortunately with Elegoo, and I've seen this with several people who I've been helping with their brand new Elegoo printers, and they get a bottle of resin with it, and they end up putting their print times at 6 seconds and 80 for their bottom, because that's what the bottle said. The bottle is still labeled as RGB screen printing. Like, I'll be honest, I've been doing this for a long time. It's been a good year, if not longer, that we have not had RGB screens like as the standard. Sure, there's been some here and there. Like I've said, there still is some around. Like the last one that I can think of was the Voxelab. What was it called? Not the Proxima. It was, oh God. Now it's going to skip my mind. But anyway, Voxelab had two printers that they came out with, the Proxima and the other one. And the other one was RGB, and the Proxima was BW. So the Proxima was a better one, and obviously it was more expensive by like $60 or something, maybe $50. So obviously people went for the cheaper one. So a lot of people didn't get that memo that they were vastly different. Now they still produce the same qualities. There's no real big difference between RGB and BW when it comes to quality printing, but there is the speed. So while some of these printers, like take for example the Frozen Mega, uh, the Frozen Mini, and the Anycubic M3, they have settings to keep you from destroying the printer. So they have very, very conservative settings on them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stick with those settings. You can always bump them up, which I usually do. So you can make them much, much faster printing. So I got the Anycubic Mono 4K on the way. Great deal. That JAYO is also easy to wash, doesn't require too much wash time compared to Elegoo. So again, kind of going back, I usually wash, I do the 666 method. Yes, I know, the devil. So I use 6 minutes wash, 6 minutes to dry, 6 minutes to cure. And that's essentially what I use for everything. Now, obviously, if we get to larger models, then okay, we might have to adjust that a little bit, but it's very rare that I have to adjust that. Usually, we're pretty good on those settings all around. I think I've maybe had to adjust those 2, maybe 3 times, and that was just because of the sheer size of the print. I had to do one side and then flip it around and do another side. So that's essentially how we had to do it. And at that point, we couldn't even cure it in the cure station because it was too big. So we had to cure it outside, which was fun. So, but yeah, anyway, we're at 56%. So as you can tell, I've already had this print going while we were talking and chit-chatting. So yeah, going flying by pretty quickly. And I will tell you that these, I believe, are still on stock settings. So again, you can tune your settings a little bit more. And I usually try and do that for everybody because I know a lot of people are scared to tune their settings because, well, to be in all honesty, it's kind of risky. You can destroy the screen, which is exactly why the Mega is technically down. I put a dimple in the screen a long time ago when I started doing speed settings. And ever since then, I've just been kind of crutching it along. And it's worked, but, finally it punctured the new FEP that I just put on there. And it leaked on the screen enough to where I cannot get it off without probably destroying the screen a good amount. So at that point, it needs to be replaced. But once we put it on there, we will put a screen protector on there. So, JO, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for joining the chat. Hi, friends. Thanks, Matt, for holding this live stream to introduce JO Resin. So I will tell you guys, I'm very surprised that you guys put not just RGB cure times on this, or print times, but you also put BW times. A lot of printer manufacturers don't do that. They just put one or the other, and it's usually the RGB one in it. Like I said earlier, Elegoo is known to do that, and that is a problem because, again, that will print, but you are way overexposing that print, and you're losing a ton of detail. So the print will definitely come out if you're printing on RGB screen settings on a monochrome. But yeah, it's, oh man, you're just going to have a lot of problems with it. And sometimes it might not even print. Who knows? But I've seen a lot of problems with that. So why did my garage smell like resin the first day? Now it doesn't. Probably because you got used to it, or I don't know. Maybe there was just a lot of mixture in the bottom of your resin, and now that it's been shooken up, it's kind of all over the inside the bottle, and now it's more evenly dispersed, the chemicals, the mixtures. So that could be, I don't know, could be several different things, but I'm gonna go with your body's probably just automatically adjusting to it. So do you have a printer that has a filtration system on it? That could also be too. So also understanding what all the different settings mean can be intimidated it was for me. Absolutely. And I get that a lot. People are just like, okay, these are my settings. What do I need to do? And I'm like, it's very simple. Change the bottom exposure to this number, and it's usually 30 for monochrome screen. That's what I leave all of my printers at. And basically, we're going to set this time for the normal exposure. And from there on, we're just going to change the normal exposure depending on the resin that you're doing. That's all you have to do. Just one setting. That's it. Unlike FDM, where you have to change retraction, you have to know how much retraction you got to do. Now, you can go and do that type of machine settings for your printer, but I would say just leave that to me. Ask me to do a speed profile on your printer, and if I have the chance and have the printer to do it, I will set up a better profile to get a faster printing experience. Case in point, I had the Creality Halette 1 Plus here. It was printing a specific print at 6 hours and 38 minutes. I did some quick speed settings. All I did was just change a few settings. That's it. But again, I kind of know what I'm doing with this. And all I did was take that print time from 6 hours and 38 minutes down to 3 hours and 46 minutes or 43 minutes, I think it was. So again, you have to be very careful when you're doing that, because when you're first printing, you got to be very careful because those speed settings are so quick that it can destroy your screen. So I always give a warning on my speed profiles, like if you use this, there's a good possibility you are going to destroy something, but that's not always going to be the case. You just have to be careful with, if there's a failure, look at it. So now I got to get some JAYO. Is it on Amazon? Yes. So we showed this off on Amazon. This specific bottle is actually $41.99. And then if you want the black one, because it only comes in 2 colors currently, the black one is a little bit more expensive. I believe that was $43.99. So if you guys want, I can send you guys my affiliate link if you want to buy stuff through there. And again, that affiliate link will it will allow you to purchase anything through Amazon. So you don't have to use it just for that. If you click on that link for anything, just go ahead and do a search. Let's say you're searching for toenail clippers. You can go ahead and search for that, buy them, and as long as you're using that link, I get a little bit of a kickback if you guys want me to. So just order black, gray, green, and red. I used the one you posted yesterday. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see what JO. This is JO official YouTube channel, JO plant-based resin. I am interested in that because I absolutely love plant-based resin. Now, I haven't tried the Anycubic stuff, but the eSun I've been using for 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. So I'm hoping that it is. Nylon resin, I am very interested in. I just got a bottle from Frozen on that. So actually, now that you guys mention it, I believe you guys sent me a bottle of nylon. Maybe that was Sunlu. I'll have to see. I thought somebody else sent me some nylon resin. So anyway, plant-based resin, ABS-like resin, and nylon resin are all available soon on Amazon. Welcome to follow JAYO Facebook homepage to learn more. So there you go. Go ahead and look up JAYO 3D or JAYO in general. Go ahead and join their Facebook group, join their YouTube channel, and our second print is set up here, and it is coming off the build right now, or coming out of the bat. I mean, all right, cool. What's up, Phantom? How's it going? What's up, Evil Prince? Yes, thank you everybody for coming here and joining the TED Talk. So even though I'm still kind of congested, I was actually pretty good today, and then now I think it's because I'm sitting downstairs in the basement and it's kind of cooler down here. So I think that's what's doing it. But I think I'm also going to crank up my filtration system. So switch to YouTube. Yeah, I need to get some resin ordered. Well, Josh, if you need an affiliate link, like I said, I have my Amazon one. It's nothing to you guys. It just you go through there and literally you can buy anything through that link at any point in time. So it's out there if you guys want. I can send it to you. If not, that's perfectly fine. It's not the end of the world. But hey, every little bit helps, and I can show off resins like this. I can buy things like this. If somebody asks me, hey, what do you think about this resin? Or if JAYO comes out with the nylon resin, and somebody's like, hey, I want to buy a resin that has some structural integrity to it, for like car parts or something, something ridiculous. I want to make a shifter for my car, something that'll hold up. Well, I can do stuff like that if you guys use those affiliate links, because obviously every little kickback helps. And even though I don't get much through Amazon, again, every little bit helps. And I can go ahead and buy cool stuff like that and show off that, hey, this is a really, really cool resin if you guys are looking for a cheap nylon resin out there, and one that works very well. So, all right, we'll let that drip a little bit. Good price, and the quantity is large. Yes, absolutely. For $41.99, I like this because for $41.99, you usually get 2 bottles of resin, and that's great and all, but that just takes up a lot of room, and then you have 2 bottles that you're shuffling around. Whereas this is just all one and done. I like these big jugs. I like these big jugs. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's going to make a meme out of that one. But yeah, I like the size of these big jugs. And I think this is a great move for any resin manufacturer to go to, especially like I said, with the addition to these new larger printers that are coming out on the market. Like the M3 Max and the Elegoo Jupiter and the Frozen Sonic Mega. These are great things to have for those large printers, because essentially you can have everything right then and there and not have to worry too much about it. So that's very, very nice. You are handsome. Sure. I have hands, some hands. So yes. What's the difference between ABS and nylon specifically for strength? So that's going to depend on manufacturers. But I will tell you, just out of the gate, ABS is going to be more like PETG, and nylon is going to be more like in between of ABS and nylon. So a little bit higher structural strength. And I believe the temp rating is going to be much higher on a nylon than it is ABS. But again, that's going to depend on who you're buying the nylon from. There are specific like cheap nylons that you're going to get. And again, those are going to be more towards like the ABS. Like I'm talking about filament, like comparative to a filament. So ABS resins are usually more comparative to a PETG, maybe a little bit better depending on which one. And nylon is going to be more towards the ABS side, if not just a little bit better. But again, that's going to depend more on the manufacturer. You can spend lots of money getting like those engineering resins, and those are going to be higher end resins. They're going to have specific strengths. So you really have to look at the data sheets to figure out what you're looking for. And again, I was kind of showing that off a little bit earlier here on the Amazon page, because it was basically telling us like, oh, this has a shore strength of 80 to 85D. Well, I don't technically know those specifications in full, so I can't touch on that subject. But I know that the ratings that they have there are pretty much the standard for standard resins, so, or like rapid resins type thing. So we're talking about filament. Now you're talking. So speaking of that, I was actually just kind of toying with the idea today of buying a new nozzle, either for the Viper, or when we finally unbox my MK3 3 Plus S, or whatever it is, that's been sitting for the last 3 months, that I'm sure Prusa is really happy about. It's been sitting there, lying in its box, because I just don't have room on my desk right now. I have too many things. But I was toying with the idea of printing with some carbon fiber, because I absolutely love the look of it. And especially like with the Anycubic Viper, it has that textured PEI sheet, and it just looks amazing going down on that. So that's, yeah. I'm just making models like the EGA, so I'll have to try both right now. The plant-based resin is good. Good, glad to hear. That is great resin. I got the resin printer for the Hex 3D models. What type of resin should I use? So if you're using models, you will probably want to go more for an ABS-like resin. Now that doesn't mean that standard won't print it, but standard's going to be a little bit more brittle. I definitely don't suggest water washable for miniatures at all. That is the most brittlest resin out there, and that's mostly what you don't see me use is water washable. I'm just not a big fan of it. But we we have tried some water washable from another company called uh, God. Now I'm drawing a blank. I'm having brain farts today. Ministry of Resin, and that seems to be a pretty good one so far. But that's about the only one that I've had that's pretty good. Now that doesn't mean that they won't get better over time. For like the JAYO has one, or Sunlu, or eSun, or Elegoo, or Anycubic, or whoever. But yeah, that's I would definitely go with more of an ABS resin out of anything for miniatures. And if you have the money, find model resin that has way more flexibility. But again, if you have like very thin parts, that might not be the way to go because they might be too flexible. So anyway, JO resin, nice, yes. PM me, get the promotion. Only for a few people, limited promotion. So if you guys are on Facebook, look for Lily Lee. You can search on my Facebook page, Matt Farmer, and find her in there. And if you guys want a promotion code, they are setting up a promotion right now for you guys. So if you want some discounts on some resin for you resin peeps, there you go. Interested? Absolutely, Emma. I want to buy five bottles. Any discount? I'm sure there will be a discount. Now there might be a discount for one of those, but hey, any discount is a discount, and that's pretty good. Rika, what's up? Hi, Matt. Just ordered an Elegoo Saturn S. I'm sorry. No, I got it to print small parts clips, and I ordered Sunlu ABS like resin. Do you think that's a good resin to use? Absolutely. Now, again, it all depends on what you're using those for and how much strength you actually need. Um, it's you might have to add some more additive to it. Again, every single different resin has its own specifications, so you really have to look at the specification sheets to see what is a good strength. Probably the best one to base it off of is 3DRS Hard or Tech Blue. Those are both good ones to base off of. So I had someone reach out on Facebook. Is it any good? So far it's looking pretty good. The gray is a little bit more whitish, so it's a very very light gray, I will say. But yeah, that is it's printing okay right now. Now, granted, we haven't done any actual prints, and we probably won't on this live stream, but at least I'll start one, and you guys can see me update. And I'll probably more or less update on TikTok and then share the video out to everywhere else. But essentially, we'll set up some sort of print to go on there for sure. But yeah, to get back to your question, Rika, it's going to depend on the specifications of the resin, because I can have 5 different bottles of ABS resin, and every single one of them is going to be different. So that's the issue. Even though they can be the same manufacturer, there's little slight differentiations from each and every one. And that's the same thing with filament. Every single ABS filament is going to be different. I mean, Filament Stories can probably even touch on that. Now, she probably hasn't done much ABS, but the same thing can be said for PLA. Is silk PLA the same as regular PLA? I highly doubt it. So, JL3D, I've got your rainbow PLA in a printer right now. I see it's out of stock on US Amazon. Hopefully that means it's selling well. That usually does mean it's selling very well. JAYO's got some great stuff. I've used JAYO for a long time. Like a long time. Geez. Probably since I've almost started. You know what? Actually, that might be 3D Warhorse, which I believe is JAYO, like rebranded or something. I could be wrong, but I love the color of JAYO. Looks better than yellow goo for me. Yeah, so that's another thing kind of going with, okay, every single bottle of resin is different. This is a very, very light gray. And as you can see, the light is picking it up very well. So it's almost white. So just to give you an idea of how light it is, this is a paper towel, and that is gray. So as you can see, the light almost picks it up as a singular. So it is gray, but it is definitely not as dark as some grays. So as you can see, that is much, much grayer than anything else. It's kind of got like a blue tint, that one, and that is the Airy One resin. So um, again, every single resin is going to be different. So we'll have to see how this turns out. So let's go ahead and get this off the build plate and see how it looks. Rainbow PLA would be sold next month. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take this off. All right, let's read some comments. Looks like I need to hit at JL 3D up for some resin to go with my first resin printer. Absolutely. I do highly suggest that as of right now. So far, we are getting pretty good results. We'll see how fast we can get this printing. But they are on my Facebook page, so you can hit them up there and get some resin. What's a good resin color to start off with? So I'll be honest, gray is probably the best one to use because it is a simple color, and it does kind of yield the best details, in my opinion, for general resins, I should say. Now, that doesn't mean that, it's going to be the best for detail. No, that's not necessarily always true. But like if you had a white resin or a clear resin, it's a little bit harder to see the details on there. And I will tell you, these test prints are a disaster to try and decipher when you have white. So just to be aware of that. So I tend to usually have mostly gray on hand. I will say, out of the, I don't know, 60 or 70 bottles of resin, yes, I actually have 60 or 70 bottles of resin, and that's no joke. Maybe more. I would say probably 95% of those are gray. And that's just because I choose gray, because I work with gray. It's super simple to use, and it's kind of easy to paint. And yes, this is my first time painting anything, and that guy came out very well. Not the greatest, because I left some baby oil on the original print, so the paint didn't stick very well. But for my first time painting ever, I am absolutely happy with that. And this guy was made by a TikTok creator called ZMI Labs. So he does some really cool stuff with like those little Funko Pop miniature looking guys. So the JO gray after washed and cured almost looks like the color of your shirt. Well, yeah, technically, I mean, it is a gray shirt and it's got some white lines in it. So it would definitely be very close to that for sure. Let's see here. JO Resin are doing a limited promotion. If you want, get the promotion, PM me. All right, there you go. Only for a few people. Exactly. 60 or 70 bottles is totally not a problem. That sounds very reasonable to me. Well, from someone who probably has a couple hundred filaments, yeah, I can understand that. Like, your entire backdrop is literally filaments. Like, that's what it should be. You should have like just the wall of filaments. I just gave you an idea. The wall of filaments, and then you just pull out a filament for the day. All right, everyone. Today it's the wall of filaments. Or do it like every Thursday or something. Filament Thursdays. Filament Wednesdays, Filament Tuesdays. Filament Tuesdays that fits a little bit better. I mean, Filament Fridays is good, but that's kind of taken. So, but yeah, there you go. There's something about resin prints and gray that just looks so beautiful. I'm all about that color and rainbows, but resin and gray is beautiful. Yeah, I agree. And like we've done some cool things with like the mica powders, like I was showing you guys a little bit earlier. And they don't really come out in darker colors like gray. It's kind of so-so. Where it really shines is like the clear resins. That's really where what you want it for. But I mean, you can make some really cool stuff with it, like you know this Akuma mods. You know, like who's the resin god? I absolutely love this. Whoever made this program, I instantly fell in love with it. So it's on Cults 3D, but my apologies if I forget who it is. So um, you said Lily Lee, correct, for the JAYO. Yes, you'll see her on there. If you look for on my personal page, Josh, you can probably see this chat or this live stream on my page, and she'll be on the actual chat. So anyway, let's take a look at this. I might have to dry this off a little bit, so we might have some loud noises wherever I put it. Oh, there it is. I think it's time for a battery replacement. I mean, for 80 bucks, this thing has got its money's worth out of it. I mean, I don't have to ever buy those crappy crappy things, but I think we're good. Let me just check this. We might be just nah, we're still under. So we're pretty good, but we're just slightly under. So we're at 2.5. So I think 2.7 is going to be the sweet spot. So as you can see right there, we have some pieces missing. That's basically supposed to be a straight line, as you can see on this side. Come on, focus. Focus, Logitech. Focus, Logitech. You're my only hope. So you see on the top here, there's a little bit chunks missing. And then over on the left here, there's some chunks missing. And then right where my finger was, right there, there's some chunks missing. So we're just slightly under. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see this. Unfortunately, with this front-facing camera, it doesn't work very well. And I could probably put my macro lens, but essentially we're missing just a little bit. So 2.6, we're going to go 2.7 on this. So while it says that it's fast, it's not super fast, but we're still probably going to be under the 3 mark. Okay, so we're at 2.7. We're running our third print. And like I said, this is good. This is taking a little bit longer than it normally is, but that's just because of the setting. So essentially we're taking, it's what, 15, 20 minutes per print. So I lied. It's actually more like an hour to process a bottle of resin. But again, I'm used to, okay, set it at 2.2 and then we're good. Now, with that being said, you can essentially do a under and an over. So we set it at 2.2 and it was under. So what we could do is we can go on the extreme spectrum and go 3.0 or 3.2 and do that 1 second difference and see where we land, because that'll give you a good indication of where you are. And then you can basically set it. So like, for example, right now, technically I can probably let this go and put it at 3.0 and be okay. But if we want to properly tune it in, we're going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit. And then that's essentially what we're going to be doing, is dialing it in so we don't ever have to do it again. It'll be a one and done, and we don't have to worry about, well, maybe I could get a little bit more detail if I bring it down. Because let's say we did go to the 3.0 spectrum, okay? the print would probably look pretty good, maybe slightly overexposed, and that might be okay. But if we just let it roll at 3.0 and we didn't actually do a exposure test, the print would probably print just fine, like I said, but we might lose a little bit of detail here and there. We probably would not notice it, to be in all honesty. But I'm kind of a perfectionist in some ways. In some ways, I'm going to tell you that. Some ways. And that's one of them, just because, like, I hate losing that detail or having a failure and knowing that it's coupled because of that issue. Like, something's not working right. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Hope you are well, brother. I am doing a little bit better. I'm still a little congested a little bit, but it's much better than what I was a week ago. Or even a couple days ago. I've been taking some decongestants to try and help it out. But I think it's just COVID running its course, and technically tomorrow is the last day. Well, tonight is the last day of the 2-week type thing for the COVID. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys want to stick around and see me do this next print. It's going to take another 18 minutes. Well, 15 minutes, actually. We've already done 3 minutes because I've been talking your ears off. But it's up to you guys if you want to stick around and kind of chit-chat a little bit. I don't know what we're going to chit-chat about, but you guys can ask away if you got any questions, comments, concerns. And then, obviously, I think JAYO is still here, so if they have any questions about their resins that they can answer, they may or may not still be here. And if not, I could probably answer those same questions just as well as they can. Because, I am your resin 3D printing god. It's all right. I know I at least trigger one person with that, and I'm fine. So yeah, what I think I'll do is I'll put up some pictures online of these prints, just to give people a little bit sense of understanding of why we do these dialing ins, and just a little bit of detail that you are missing, because essentially, like I was showing off in those pictures, like they looked soft, right? So that's essentially what I'm going to right here is these are underexposed. So some of the points on here, which I didn't even show you all the points. I'm just showing you how easy it is to read this. So Sunlu, so Amazon Sunlu is in here. Wow, what's up, guys? Sunlu takes users as the center and is committed to creating high quality products. Looking forward to your feedback. So there you are. They're Sunlu themselves. So welcome, Sunlu. I think, like I said, I actually have a bottle of Sunlu here, if I'm not mistaken. So let me take a look. I'm pretty sure that is what this is. I'm almost positive I have a bottle of Sunlu, and it is a nylon Sunlu. Let's see. No, that's not going to open it. No way, Jose. As I put that away, and then there's more that needs to be open, of course. So let's see. Let's see if I'm right. I think I do. We'll make this a partner stream. So again, we have some extra filters. Some great packaging. Oh, it totally is Sunlu. Da 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 da. We have our QC card, right? Qualified certification pass. Qualified certificate. QC pass 10. What's up, Steven? What's up, Alan? So this will be a good one to go against my other nylon that I have. What did I just do with it? I literally just added object permanence. All right. Anybody in chat can tell me where I put the scraper I just had? Oh, I put it in here. Now, they might have that. It's just a special request type thing. So, yes, I do have a Sunlu PA resin, PA-like resin. Now, what is PA? That's a good question. I don't really know what PA means, but I know it is a nylon style resin. So, PA-like resin from Sunlu themselves. So, welcome, Sunlu, to the chat. Let's take a look at this really quick. I just wanted to see what PA-like resin. I'm gonna move this here. You guys can watch that that printing for right now. Ooh, so nice, so good, so good. I got you. Boop, boop, boop. Suddenly. All right, so let's see here. Nylon-like resin. Durable, strong, tough, PA-like resin. Good for functional parts, low shrinkage, and fast curing. What is so great about the nylon-like resin? It's essentially matchable to like ABS filament, maybe a little bit better. So it says Sunlu nylon-like resin will be cured when absorbing 405 UV. It is recommended to print at 25C. Nylon-like resin is stronger and tougher than ABS-like or standard photopolymer resins. Which, yes, that is absolutely true. It's kind of like I said, like ABS-like resin is more or less like PETG filament, maybe a little bit better depending on which one you have. And then nylon-like resin is more like ABS filaments and maybe a little bit better. So what's my fastest printer? The Frozen Sonic Mega. Yeah, that would be my fastest printer, only because it's got my speed profile on it. But I took it down from doing a full build plate at 64 hours down to 32 hours, I believe it is. So, gallon bottle would be sick. Well, the thing is we're talking about, you know, 2 grams or 2,000 grams, 2 grams, 2,000 grams or 2 kilograms. This is 2 bottles of resin. Now, it's funny that I say 2 bottles of resin because back in the day, you know, 1,000 kilogram of resin was very expensive. It was like 60, 70, even $80 at times. So I'm looking into the ABS and nylon. So they actually do have a versus standard. So that's kind of cool. Tougher, stronger, more durable. Obviously, I know all that. Let's see here. Let's see if it's got any information on this. So we might have to look a little bit closer into the strength of this. So to start, it's super easy to print with, and it requires less exposure time than standard resins. You can see in the video the flexibility strength the resin has. A standard resin would break under the pressure of flexing like this. Compared to standard resins, the nylon resin can bend, yet is stronger. So there. So Rika, you were asking about resins, what you were printing, like some sort of clips or something like that, right? Let's see, let's go back here. I got it to print small parts clips. Yeah, so Rika, if the ABS-like resin is still not your thing, then try PA resin from Sunlu. That would probably be a good one too. I really want the Frozen to make a massive eagle globe and anchor, but 3,000 is a bit to bite down at once. I agree, it is, but when you get it, you're going to be like, wow, this is awesome. And then you're going to be like, what have I gotten myself into? Because this is very expensive. But with that being said, you have the JO fill. You have the JO 2,000 gram bottle to get you started on the Frozen Mega 8K. And there you go. Your problems are solved. You get 2 of these for 80 bucks and you can print anything you want in one go on the Frozen Sonic Mega. So JAYO is the sub brand of Sunlu, high quality products. Looking forward to your feedback. Absolutely, I know that, but thank you for reiterating it for the people who do not. I know JAYO has been with them for quite some time, so great products in general. So I've always used eSun or Sunlu or JAYO or 3D Warhorse, what it used to be. There was another one in there. I forgot what it was, but I know there was another one that was a subsidiary. So let's see here. Definitely save that printer for me. I definitely want it bad. Could you get a rough estimate of shipping cost for it? What printer are we talking about? The Mega? I don't know. We'd have to sign that in a blood deal or something, because I don't think I'll ever give that up. It would be over my dead body tomorrow. Matt has died of what I was just watching my wife was watching some Western, and I was like, so this is literally Oregon Trail. It's like 1770 or something like that, or I don't know. It's a Western, and it's got Tim McGraw in it, I think. And I'm like, this is literally the Oregon Trail. So, anyway, welcome new 3D resin lovers to contact Lily Lee. Absolutely. She can offer you some limited promotion on the resin. I can also make the standard size I'm making them now, but probably fit 3 on 1 build plate. Yes, exactly. That is the great thing about resin printing, is you can fill the build plate and the time frame does not change. It is vastly different than FDM printing, which is one of the things that absolutely drew me to it. But so we're at 61% for this other print. I think basically what we're going to do is we're going to check this print, see how it goes, and then we're going to call it a night, because we're up at an hour and 57 minutes on this live stream. I usually don't like to go over 2 hours. Obviously, this one will, but that's basically where we're going to have it. So, because 2 hours for a live stream is a long, long time. And then maybe we'll cut off and then go back on. Maybe we'll just be on TikTok for the rest of the night. Who knows? But right now, we're guys all for joining the stream, and I hope you guys are enjoying the what do they call that? The Mr. Rogers Learning Circle of this. The more you know. I should have that. Like, I should see if I can incorporate that as like an overlay. I should see if that's a possibility. Guess kids are getting ramen for the next month. Hey, I'm down. I love ramen, but you know, I've moved on from the cheap ramens, unfortunately. I mean, they're still cheap ramens, but they're not the cheap ramens. So I have a specific brand that I've set on, and it's like spicy but not overpowering spicy. It's like just right where it gives you a good enough, like, oh god, I'm dying type thing, but not like, oh my god, I'm dying like that. So all right. So we are at 73% now. So that just kind of tells you, like, all right, it says 17 minutes and then 5 minutes left. So that is, oh, excuse me, burping now. Ramen is a staple to any field trip I go on. Yep. I used to love like regular Maruchan. I think that's how you say it, ramen. And then I got to actually eat good ramen, and now I can't eat it at all. Like, it's just, insanely salty, and it just does not taste the same. I've been spoiled terribly. And it's like, I used to eat that stuff raw. That's how much I loved it. Whenever I was sick, I used to take a thing of ramen. I was too lazy to usually cook it, so I'd eat it raw, just put the packet of flavoring on it, just eat it all crispy. And I'd sit there watching the Food Network. So cook it if there's downtime, or eat it raw if you're in a rush. And solid levels of sodium. Absolutely. Insane levels of sodium, not solid levels of sodium. But then again, I mean, I drink soda, so I mean, I'm going to die either way. But yeah, anytime I was sick, I'd eat that stuff, and it seemed to help me. But it could just be all in my head. So thanks for all the great info, Resin. God, Matt. Anytime, Josh. And now you drink resin. Oh, yeah, I could drink resin. Here, you want me to drink resin? I'm joking. It's water. It's just a joke, people. I literally bought this as a troll. Okay, this bottle alone, just the bottle, to buy it off Amazon was like $16, $15 or $16, I forget, just to buy it off Amazon. And so when I bought it, I was like, this would be great. I can put water in it. And then my friends are like, well, why don't you put milk in it? And I was like, yeah, it could be white resin. And then I was like, I could dye the milk. I could put food coloring in it and make it like red resin. Or I could dye the water. And I'm like, the endless possibilities. I can have like resin dripping down my face and just trigger people and be like, oh my God, you just drank a bottle of resin. No, this is my water bottle. And there's a reason why it has no label on it. And usually no resins of the same sort, which this one's got to go away, are on this area because I do not want it mixed up. For field training, it's good. I make my Marines packet. There you go. It's better than Powerade or Gatorade for sodium. Absolutely. Wait, I wasn't supposed to rinse out my resin bottle? Yeah, no, definitely not. That was a bad time to scroll by. I was like, no, dude. That is exactly why I bought that, for the no. Just remember, people, don't drink your resin. Yeah, no. So I bought that on Amazon. In fact, I should see how much they go for now. I don't even know what these are called. They're like chemical bottles. So I could get ones that are kind of weird looking. Oh, here we go. We can get 3 of like the rich opto ones for 18 bucks. 1,000 milliliters. I should probably upgrade. That would be good. Yeah, and our print is done. Oh, here we go. Oh, they came down way in price. So three 1,000 milliliter bottles are $23 right now. So I would be afraid of mixing bottles when not paying attention. So the thing is like, okay, maybe a year ago, I'd be absolutely 100% worried about that. But it's rare that I have a bottle like those in this area, let alone those type of bottles. Usually all my resins are stored up above me. They're all on a rack. So these are just here because I'm currently either printing with them or going to be printing. But these are probably going to go up after the live stream here. But I usually don't have bottles of resin just chilling here. And if I do, it's usually one. And like I said, it's usually like an oddball looking one where it's vastly different than the other resin bottle that I have. First off, they're usually much larger because I usually buy kilogram resins now. I actually don't think I have any 500 milliliter bottles except for these everyone ones that I got, which I couldn't pass up that deal. So, what's up, man? How's it going? Sorry, I saw you earlier, but I didn't I didn't say hi, so my apologies. Just been kind of cruising along here. Let's see. I would be afraid of mixing. Yeah, so we already went through that. So Matt actually does a lot of lithophanes with resin. So those are pretty cool. If you guys are interested in seeing lithophanes, if you're wondering if resin can print lithophanes, they can print them even better than filament can. So definitely look into that. Squid, what's up? What's up, Redbeard? How's it going? What's up, Impact? How's it going? All right, so let's go ahead and get this. Now that I've cleaned off everything, you know, now I'm gonna make a huge mess again. As I spill everywhere. All right. Hey, but can resin change color mid-print like filaments? You can get it to change that. You just have to be there, unfortunately. Um, we've had this discussion before because I stitched somebody's video about dragons, and you know, they said, oh well, I have this Cinderwing dragon, and it took me 14 hours to print it, and I was like, oh my god, I can print that same exact dragon on my Frozen Mega in less than 4 hours. And if I decide to switch colors and make it the same way where it's multicolor, I mean, give me maybe an hour, maybe 2 extra hours, and I can do that. The only downfall is I will have to be there to do that because it just requires a lot of attention to do it. But yes, you can definitely do that. But the cool thing that we can do is why mix colors when you can just add cool things like this? Mica powders, and you can make a pearlescent, or you can make a purple fuchsia, or a bronze, or a copper, or silver, or gold, or rustic gold, or black, or white. Have black powder in it, you know, like make it look really cool and unique. Can your FDM printer do that? I don't think so. So they both have their cool points, but yes, I can definitely do anything that a FDM printer can do in probably half the time it can. Just needs a little bit more self-involvement. So anyway, let's go back. Hey, Akuma Mods, and you provide your opinion on using time for any cubic basic resin. So that's basically what we're doing right now is we are properly tuning this JAYO resin to this specific printer, the Frozen Sonic Mighty 4K. And essentially what we did is we printed one out at my typical 2.2 and 30, and it is underexposed. So we went ahead and we upped the exposure to 2.5. 2.5 was still a little bit underexposed, so we just did another test print at 2.7. Now I could probably say, hey, let's go to 3.0 and just hit print and like let's just do a print. Yes, I can absolutely do that, but I'm gonna do some proper tuning and show you guys how to actually do that. So learn something new. We don't do much resin. The boys say it's too messy. Yes, it is a little bit messy, but I'll be honest. I have, well, I'm down to 12 printers now, but I basically confined this 3-foot space to everything that I need to do. And that seems to be pretty good. But yes, it is very messy. But the parts are beautiful. Absolutely. So you take the good with the bad. Curing, I meant. So as I've stated before on this live stream, I use the 666 method. So that is 6 minutes wash, 6 minutes dry, and 6 minutes to cure. If your print is still tacky after 6 minutes of curing, that means you are underexposing your print. It is not right. So just ordered 2,000 grams gray of JAYO. Awesome. I should have had you use my affiliate link, but whatever. Anyway, not the end of the world. You have to be there to change colors with FDM printers too in most scenarios with base single extruder. Right, but if we're talking about like rainbow filament, okay, rainbow filament, let's say it's fast gradient rainbow, okay, that is a little bit different. Or even let's take the new dual extrusion colors. Like I have the Yusu stuff that is just absolutely amazing looking. I have the blue and green. And there might be a special color coming up from another company. I'm not going to name what color or anything that has to do with me. I mean, but yeah, so stuff like that. Okay, that's a little bit hard to do, like the dual color or the tricolors in resin, but it's not impossible. It just you have to know what you're doing. So so yeah. Uh, dang it, forgot before I order. Nah, that's no problem. Not the end of the world. Like I said, it's there if you guys want to. If not, it's no end to me. I never try and push my affiliate on everybody. You know, I don't I don't really care. It does help out, but it's not like you better use my affiliate link for this. I'm promoting it. No, I'm not like that. Did you guys know I'm an affiliate link for Amazon? I don't say that. I say, hey, if you guys want, I have an affiliate link. If you'd like to use it, I'll send it your way. I got some supplies to get next week, so I'll hit you up before my order. Awesome. And like I said, anytime that I give you guys an affiliate link, it'll link to a specific product, but that doesn't mean that if you use the search engine and you buy something else through that affiliate link, as long as you're still inside that link, anything that you purchase will automatically give me a kickback. So, and I will tell you that if you're ordering supplies like beauty products for the wife or the girlfriends or whoever, yourself for cosplay, hey, you know, no problems here. Um, you probably have a better kickback to me doing beauty products. I'm just saying. But yeah, the Amazon's very weird on what they choose to give better kickbacks. So it's very, very strange. But anyway, all right. So no judgment. There we go. I couldn't think of the word. Good God. The car's running, but nobody's behind the wheel. Big mouth. Got that song stuck in my head now. Stupid TikTok. The Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. Don't judge my makeup choices. All right, Buffalo Bill. Some of you people may or may not get that. We'll see. It's like my favorite scene of any movie of all time. Like, if nobody knows that, oh man, I'm sorry. It's great. Kick up flicks. What's up, man? All right. Don't judge me. All right, so we're almost done dripping off that print. You do 3D prints. I do. So I have some that are set up here. I need to remove supports because I'm lazy, but this is from Stranger Things. This is a Mind Flare. And then we also did, wherever he is, the Demogorgon. Gorgon. And then we did some new miniatures of me made by my fellow TikToker, ZMI Labs. So the God of Resin, well, Resin 3D printing God, essentially is the true name. But yes, the God of Resin. Sure, some people may be triggered by it, but hey, the majority rules. So I always do that. Yes, I am working with my Ender 3 Pro. Oh, working? Is it working, or are you working on it to try and get it to work? The little G. Yo, it's the little G. Yo, it's the little God of resin, baby. Gotta run and get the kids to bed. Have a good night, Matt. All right, Josh, you have a good one. I'm sure I'll see you around. Thank you for jumping from Twitch to YouTube to Facebook.
I'm eventually trying to start a candle company that will have 3D prints with candles. That'd be kind of cool. You could definitely do some really cool things like that, like 3D printed skulls. Now, unfortunately, you might end up having some of it melts because fire plus PLA doesn't really work very well. But yeah, the support's attached very hard, and I have problems with stringing. So stringing can be temperature. That would be first and foremost. Look up something on Thingiverse called a temp tower and make sure you read all the information about it. Basically tells you how to set it up in the slicer and get it printing. It is a little bit difficult for some people. So like I said, just make sure that you are um, understanding what they're talking about in terms of how to deal with the proper stages of going from different temperatures. So themed candles with 3D prints. I have ran a couple temp towers and it came out great. All right, cool. So you got that down. So the other thing I can think of is just retraction. Maybe play with that a little bit. Now, I've never really touched on that too much, so I can't really steer you in the direction. But obviously, if you go up and it's still stringing a little bit more, then you go down. And there is um, a print for that where it goes from island to island to help you with stringing. And there's even a cool one where it comes out and it spells out fix your stringing, and then I guess when you fix your stringing, it doesn't print that out anymore. So it's a really cool one, and I don't know where it is. I want to say it was on Things that thing or not Things, Cults 3D, but I could be wrong. So they have Temp Tower G code on Thingiverse already programmed. All right, cool. That's awesome. I did not know that. I'm used to the good old days where it's like you have to do everything manually. You couldn't do everything yourself. So oh, nice. I'll find it. Yeah. I left some miniature printed with JAYO in my car. We had a temp of 106. Luckily, they survived. So I will tell you this resin in general, and I actually lit one on fire on a live stream, no joke. And I don't remember what it was. Maybe oh, you know what? I think it was eSun's bio resin. I literally lit it on fire with a lighter and let it sit there, and it caught on fire. But when I blew it out, like I let it sit there for a good minute, burning. And when I blew it out, all it was just charred. It didn't do anything, and that was just bio resin. It wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't a high temp resin or anything like that. So resin, when it's cured, can stand up to pretty high heats in general. Now, when you start getting to actual inside car parts, okay, that's a little different, like engine parts. Then you need some high heat temp stuff. But I know people that have standard resin and they use it for their hot ends. Now, granted, it doesn't sit directly on their hot end, but they use it for like fan ducts. Like my buddy John, he's got it on his Delta printer and he's been running it for about a year now, perfectly fine. And that was in, I think it was in clear red standard resin. So is that you, JO3D? Is that you, Big Jano? Yeah. So that is JO3D, the subsidiary of Sunlu. So, wow, didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that either. And that it's not really said anywhere. And again, this kind of goes back to that might vary from resin to resin. I don't know, but yeah, it's a saying, JO. It's from a movie. All right, so let me take a sip, and then we'll get this print off. All right. Let's see how this one does. Can you guys on TikTok land hear that music? Is all okay? I thought you were a different person, and that was your second account, actually. No, so that's JO3D, aka the subsidiary of Sunlu. All right, let's go ahead and wash this off. Oh, I think I just broke a piece off of there. The little nubs that are on here. Pressed a little too hard. Oh no! Where did it go? It's gone in the abyss. Oh, there it is. I gotta try and fish this thing out. That's what I get for messing around. Let's see here. Almost a little loud, but good because I can hear you. Okay, I think I can turn that down or turn it off if you guys want. It was something new that I was looking at, but yeah, let's just turn it off. TikTok, what's up? What's up, Crystal Lee? Yeah, so we're checking out some new resin from JAYO for those who are just tuning in. This is a 2,000 gram bottle of resin, and yeah, pretty nice stuff so far. It is very, very light for a gray resin, just FYI, but if you are needing that type of stuff, okay, then we are good. All right, so let's go ahead and try this off. Yeah, it's time for a new battery on this. All right. You can keep it. It was a feel. All right. We'll just put it back on. It's still here. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look now. So we're still under. So we're going to go up into the 3.0. So we're just a little bit under. So if you guys can kind of see those cuts right there, we're looking a lot better though. We actually have a connecting piece now and everything. So we're getting there. So there you go. So for you guys that can kind of see that, you know, it's very hard to see what we're talking about here. How are you? I'm still trying to get a cold out, but yeah, we're getting everything. We're trying to get caught up on everything. That's essentially what we are doing, and you guys are going to be next. So I got to try and get you guys either set up this weekend or next week to get it all situated. But yeah, we're looking a lot better. Again, we're still just slightly under. So again, probably going to 3.0 will probably would have been better. But let's jack this up a little bit. Let's go to 3.2 actually. Let's go hit it up there. Print, go. And we're going to put it at 3.2. Okay. So now we got another print going. What's the best way to smooth out prints? Well, you're using PLA, right? So sanding would be the best way. You can probably even get away with a light touch of acetone, but be very, very careful with that. Like, I mean a very light touch, because acetone will literally eat PLA like no tomorrow. So Matt, I am working with a company together to develop a custom-made filament for lithophane making. Awesome. So there's actually a company, I don't even know if I have their filament, but they're a US-based company, and they specifically designed a white filament for lithophanes. So we were selling some FDM filaments too. Awesome. Yeah, you could definitely use white filaments for sure. But yeah, so that would be the best way to go about smoothing out PLA prints. Maybe even hitting it with a little bit of fire or heat in general
Again, just like a quick touch and then smooth it, quick touch, smooth it, that type of thing, that'll work as well. So baby oil on resin is amazing. Thanks for that. Absolutely. So just a tip on that. So I did end up using that method on this print that I showed off, and I ended up painting it. And the paint kind of stuck to it, but as you can see, some of it did starting to come off because I forgot to dip this guy in like alcohol or IPA and rinse off that baby oil. So the acrylic paint kind of bonded, but not really. So not the end of the world. We got some new guys printed, so we're going to try that out. But hey, I thought it was a cool tip for people who are like me that use raw resin. You can bring back the luster of raw resin prints. So like, let's say you sanded down your resin print and you needed it to look nice, like it just came off the build plate again, and you're not going to paint it. You use baby oil, rub it on there, and rub it on the print, and it'll turn out beautifully. I can probably even show you guys what it looks like. So here, I'll get this print. Do I have any on hand? Yes. Here, we'll use our little sanding block here. All right. So we sanded this piece down, right? So let's wash it off really quick. We'll let it dry, and we'll see how it looks when it's all done and dried. Okay, and I'll show you guys. Do you want some filaments? If you want, get the discount, you can add Lily. So the downfall of Matt is he lives in the UK, but if you guys have discounts for the UK guys, by all means, Matt is definitely one of them that can use it. So I don't paint any of my prints as of yet, so the baby oil tip works for me. Good, good. See, and everybody gave me crap about that, and rightfully so, because I didn't say that it was, specifically for raw prints. People automatically went to, well, what if you're going to paint it? That's not going to stick. I'm aware of that. I'm just saying it's going to bring back the luster of your raw print. But I didn't say that, so obviously people took it the wrong way. Hey, it is what it is. So the downside of putting out stuff. What's up, Sniper? How's it going? How's it going, Prime Directives Armory? Interesting name. You, I take it you do miniatures? Actually, came out pretty good. JL 3D, thank you, but I'm okay, and most of my filaments I get for free. Ew, well, aren't we snazzy? No. Oh, you know what? I just realized my Facebook page was gone here. So I didn't see it. Ben, what's up? Robbie, how's it going? How do you ventilation, Matt? I see lots of resin machines. I do not have a ventilation system per se. Like when you say ventilation, that means that it's going to go out of here and go out to the world, go out in the outside. Nothing is vented outside here. I have a tower fan that has a carbon filtration system on it, and that basically takes care of everything on my resin printers. Now, again, I use very good resins that are usually very low odors in general. But anyway, you need that for the VOCs to begin with. So I basically have that set up to to send out all of the fumes, and that's why it sits right behind there, because that's where most of my stuff is printing. I usually do have one that's sitting here, but that gets taken care of by the other one that's in the back room there. So I helped you set up Shitu Box. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll be honest, I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis, so it's just like I don't, you can tell me who you are, but it's just like over my head. And I don't mean to be like, oh, you're not important to me type thing. I'll be honest, nobody is in that sense. Like, you can be my own family member and I'll be like, huh? Like, I don't remember talking to you about that. Like, that's how this thing works. So my apologies for it, but I just deal with a lot of people on a daily basis with things like that. So I'm just yeah, overwhelmed with helping out people. Not terrible, but my apologies. JL3D, if you like, I can make a custom lithophane with local logo off your company and send to you for free. Awesome. So this is almost dry. We'll show off this one too while we're on this live stream. Local logo, yes. So we're gonna let this run for a couple more minutes and then we're gonna call it a night. What's up, RJ? I do still have your thing here, but I'm gonna get the shipping label ready to send it out tomorrow. I promise. If not, it'll be Saturday. So I promise either tomorrow or Saturday. But I'm gonna try my best to do it tomorrow. So sorry, autocorrect. Your autocorrect is wrong. But I make mostly armor and weapons. Ah, cool. I really hope that's not my hard drive clicking. Otherwise, we're going to have a bad day. No problem, man. I'm not that much of in a hurry, but if you could send me the tracking, be awesome. Absolutely, I will. I'll probably send it ups because oops yeah, they're just weird when they send things. So I don't want you to be like, hey, it says that it's still there, and then literally an hour later it shows up at your doorstep like it did last time. We're not going to go through that. I'll spend the money to send it ups, so you get it there soon. So, and it's too bad you live so far away because I'll be in your neck of the woods end of next week, but I'll be at the westmost tip. That sounded weird. All right, so we're gonna taking the gloves off. That's it, people. I have a solid state hard drive, so clicking would be really bad. Yeah, so I have a solid state for the system, and then I have a 10 terabyte Iron Wolf Seagate. And in my experience, I know everybody is all about Western Digital, but in my experience doing CCTV for 4 years, 5 years, no, like 6 years, Western Digitals do not stand up. Even the best ones, they just never stood up. Now, granted, those were like constantly writing stuff to it, so that's a little bit understandable. It's really hard for a lot of drives to do that. But Seagates always, and even the cheap ones, Seagates worked always. I never replaced a Seagate, always replaced Western Digitals. And I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for that, but it's true. So, stuck between 2 different post offices in my area. Oh, nice. Where are you going? I am going to Florida in about a week, almost a week. So we'll be in Panama. Be driving down there. It'll be a fun drive. I love driving through, I think it was Georgia, driving through the hillbilly side of Georgia, where you drive down and people have Confederate flags out instead of U.S. flags. That was an interesting experience. For some reason, the last time I went there, Google took me through the rural area instead of the highway, and my mother-in-law could not figure out why, but it was interesting to see everything out there. So either way, I'm just here to hang out, man. Cool. Well, unfortunately, I might be getting off here. So I made a lithophane for Matt Farmer. Yes, you did. So I make a lot of lithos for the community for free. Yes, very, very nice. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I'm going to be sticking in that area. So that's like our go-to memorable spot type thing. Don't get me wrong, I love Florida, but I love Florida Keys more than I love regular Florida. That was a cool experience. So like for our honeymoon, um, we drove from Fort Lauderdale all the way down to the Key West, and it was the coolest experience ever. And my wife was flipping out on the 7 Mile Bridge, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, she doesn't do too well on bridges, and especially when there's water around, and then there's a bridge just in the distance that's literally falling apart. So kind of puts some people on edge. But yeah. All right. So we're looking pretty good on this. All right. So you guys can see there's some like pitting and some rough spots. I mean, that isn't too bad. You can kind of see some marks there. Same here for you guys. For those, come on, focus. So kind of see how it's like frosted there on one side. We're going to get rid of all of that and make it look like this side by simply adding baby oil. Let me put you guys over next to TikTok here so you guys can see what's going on. I'm just going to add a little bit, and essentially we're just going to rub and buff basically. So let's put TikTok down here. I need to put some more on there. All right, so we have it all frosted, right? Looking a little crappy. Boom, done. I know what you're going to say. Well, that's all greasy and everything. Yeah, just wipe it away. Let it settle. It'll settle in a couple days. So just wipe it all off. And it's just like wax on, wax off. Boom. Look it. Looks perfect. I'm hearing constant ticking now, and it's really, really triggering me because I really hope I don't lose all my files because I just put them all in the correct folders, and I would be really, really upset. So maybe we're going to have to do a backup. Yeah, I hate most of Florida, but I do horses, and Ocala is the horse capital of the world. That would be nice to. My wife would definitely have a field day there. She loves horses. Her aunt had a horse farm here before they moved to North Carolina. So she had a couple horses. She had a pony too. So I actually worked for the company that owns WEC down here. Cool. Hey, connections. I use water. Yeah, but does water stay? That's my question. Does water stay like that forever, no matter what you're doing? Because I'll tell you what, if I did one and I put it in water, it's not going to do the same thing. I guarantee it. After sanding it down, water works, is what you're telling me. Because this will stay like this for however long I need it, for the life of the print. Make a back Kobe? What? It's like the Disney World of horses. Oh God, we got you guys talking about horses. Sorry. You know. Boom. So like what I'm saying is all this whiteness. What settings am I using for the Sunlu? So it's actually JAYO that we're working on right now. And right now we tried 2.2, that's 2 under. Tried 2.5, that's a little bit better. We tried 2.7, it's a little bit better. And now I just kind of jacked it up to 3.2 to see where we're at. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit over, but we'll see. I work for the IT department of their trucking side. RL Carriers. Hey, been to the Ohio one a few times. Nice. Ohio. Oh, Ohio. After curing, and then there's some flow in that I use sandpaper and then water. Right, but what I'm saying is the water will turn it back into what it looked like before. Back like it looked right when you took it off the build plate. That's what I'm curious, because I have not had that. So like right now, that is all like white looking. Okay, and it's going to keep getting white. It's like if there was a massive community center dedicated solely to 3D printing except horses. That's insane. I think I'm still dealing with the after effects of Rona because I still have a head cold. It's not terrible. Like at the beginning of this week, it was pretty bad. Like I was just like constantly blowing my nose. And today it was much better, but I'm also taking a lot of different decongestants to help that out. So, but that's pretty much the only thing that I have to deal with right now is the cold, and then my ear is sort of popped, but not really. So, yes, it turns it back. It's very interesting because not in my experience, so we'll have to check that out. It took me a month after being cleared to feel normalish. So my first run with the Rona, I was good after the 2-week quarantine thing. So I was fine. With this one, I was negative after 5 days. So I went back to work. So. So what print am I working on? So we're actually doing, so this whole live stream is actually about this specifically. So this is JAYO resin, and this is specifically their 2,000 gram bottle. This is their gray resin that they came out with. It's kind of a lighter gray, almost like a white, very, very light gray, kind of nice. And
we're basically doing some exposure tests to see what we should be printing at. So we've ran 3 exposure tests right now, one at 2.2, one at 2.5, and one at 2.7, and they're still a little bit under. So this one I just printed, it's finishing right now. I cranked it up to 3.2. So we're going to see how it runs on that, and then we're going to post up our results and show everybody how the differences between resin exposure times and what you're looking for, and why I use this specific resin exposure is because it's just very simple to read this and what's going on with it. So, you know, there are some other ones out there, but either they take a little bit too long, or the detail in them is kind of hard to read for some people, at least for me. So I had a rainbow spool of their filament. It printed weird, but once I got the settings down, it was good. Yeah. So JAYO's been on the live stream with us. They're actually hopping in and out of the YouTube channel. So they've been here with us on and off. So if you guys are looking for resin deals, you can contact Lily Lee on my Facebook page, and excuse me, they can hook you up with a deal. I believe it's US only though. Nice. Frozen's new ones are pretty good, but do take extra time for sure. So I don't use the new Frozen one. This is the older Frozen one. So Frozen has 3 of them right now. So they have the new one that's like a puzzle piece, which is really cool. I haven't tried that one yet. And then I use this one because it's just a little bit easier to read. So, ¿cómo está? Bien, ¿y tú? Bien, bien. Muy. No, not muy. Poquito hablo español. Probably muy poquito. Pequeño. I need to scuff my flex plate again so it'll stick. That's one of the reasons why I don't use flex plates. Really, you shouldn't have to do that for any plate, really. Mine just do it naturally because I just destroy them, but yeah. Also bien, good. You know, it's really shiny, and the shininess they're trying to get rid of. Cool. I've had their resin and filament with good results on each. Their ice blue filament was amazing. That's very interesting because I was looking at their blue, basically their ice blue resin, and it looked amazing. And so did their red. So when do you think you'll get your Mighty 8K to? So I have the Mighty 8K. It's right here, but right there. So we did 2 test prints on it already, some actual test prints, and something's off. I don't know if it's a leveling issue or just because of where it's sitting. So today I'm going to kind of clean off this area and put it on an actual like fixed desk, because right now the left side of the build plate, if you're looking at the machine, the left side prints are not sticking to it. And I thought it was a leveling issue, so I did a leveling, and then I did some extra leveling on top of that to see if maybe it's just the leveling itself is not right, and still having the same results. So I got to take a look at it and see. But then again, the other factor on that is what we're doing right now, I have not done on that. And even though I'm using the stock profile setting for Shitu Box, it might not be working because of that, because the Mini that's behind me and the Mega, both on stock profiles, had to be tuned to have more exposure than the stock one did on both of those machines. Because like I always say, even though you have your settings and whatnot that Shitu Box tell you, hey, Frozen says the 8K resin prints at 3.0 seconds, your experience might be better or might be worse in printing. So I'm going to put it on a stable location. I'm going to run a test print after we're done with this live. And then we're going to go from there and do another test print. We'll do another full build plate so we can get one on the left, one on the right. and see what's going on, and then verify if it's an issue with the build plate or the leveling or what, because something is amiss with it right now. I'm not going to say it's a machine issue. I'm going to chalk it up to a user error right now, but we'll see later on tonight. So it's the ones for the resin. I couldn't get anything to stick till I scuffed them with sandpaper. Then boom, perfect. It's very strange. So I personally never had that issue, but have you done your exposure settings? As that's what we're doing. Test once, test some more, then test. Yes. So essentially, we're on our 4th test right now for this resin. Now, like I usually say, it takes about a half hour to dial in. I'll be honest, that's maybe for me. Now that I'm doing this in a proper manner and doing it live, okay, it might be more like an hour to 2 hours. But then again, we are talking in between. Like this print is done. I probably would have already had it off the build plate and ready to rock and roll. So, but yeah, always tune your resin exposure settings first before you do anything. So, I got to see when it was half finished, but I never got to see it done. What are you referring to? Oh, you won a statue naming contest? That's cool. Oh yeah, I think you told me about that. Sorry, I pointed. The Stranger Things print. Yeah, so yeah, so Eddie's bust or stone or whatever you want to call it printed, but something happened to his leg, and then his print, he kind of peeled a little bit off of the plate. So we're gonna have to reprint Eddie because he's kind of dead. So I mean, it's a legitimate print, but yeah, we're gonna reprint them and see if we can do that. So also next day off, I'll go live and put the new Tronxy machine together. You got a Tronxy? Sorry, I don't see your username. It just says Facebook user. So my apologies. Let me log into the group here. So for group members, it just shows me Facebook user says this over here in this corner. And if you want your name to be seen, if you click out of here, there's a link and you can basically show it. Oh, okay, Dale. I know. All right, I know who that is. You're taking a break from social media, but you're going to be on Snapchat. That's the epitome of social media. All right, let's take this off. Receive, wake up. I don't like this. Receive, wake up. See, I got that song stuck in my head now. Urgh. Prime Day deal, got a Trunk CX5S and a roll of green PETG for 200. So I'll be honest, my Trunk CX5S was totally awesome. But the thing is it was not a Trunk C, except for the frame. That's it. And if you are in the Trunk CX5S community, you'll see pretty much everybody's like that. So it is even worse than an Ender 3 when it comes to I need this upgrade, I need that upgrade. But I will tell you, if you are trying to all right, have a good one, Rika. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, we're going to be hopping off here. It's almost 3 hours for this live stream. This is way over than what I'm normally am. Anyway, so the Trunksies are great machines, but their working parts are just bleh. If you want a great upgrade, or at least a couple great upgrades right away, get a dual belt blinking system. Get, I forgot what they're called, but they're essentially springs, anti-backlash springs. and you put them on where your bed sits, because there's an issue with that machine where if you are done with a print, the bed plate likes to settle and sag. Well, settle more or less. So what happens is if you have your Z height set to 0.1, you'll come back and it'll end up being like 0.6. And it happens with all the trunk Z's. It's a common issue. So thank you for the crown. But yeah, so those are my two out of the box suggestions if you're going to try and get it working, because you're going to have to assemble it anyway, and that might be a little bit better. Also, I don't know if they still have the acrylic parts for putting it together, but definitely upgrade to either metal ones or ABS printed ones, or nylon or PC, something that's a little bit more rigid, because the acrylic ones tend to flex too much. And when you're chooching around, yeah, it'll snap right off and send that entire hot end flying. But how's the Anycubic Mono 4K? I don't have one. I have an Anycubic M3 Max. That is an Anycubic wash and cure station plus wash and cure station. All right, Matt, you have a good one. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, I have several different printers. So you can see the M3 Max, the Frozen Sonic Mini 8K. Just below here, you can see the top of the Frozen Sonic Mighty 8K, the Mega 8K by Frozen. There's the Nova 3D down there. There is the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K. The Weebox Lite 130, which, yes, I think it's time to let her go. So saw a few upgrades I think are necessary, one being rails, springs, and I need to figure out my boron inspired machine to do ABS for those parts. So that's another route that you can go, which we were just looking at the other day. Some guy has an insane list. Now, this is probably thousands of dollars that you're going to be throwing at it. But essentially, you turn it into a boron killer, that it turns it into something like a boron, but on an insane level where you can run 1,500 millimeters a second. Like, that is, you see it go and it's just like boom, 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 boom. Like, how is this even doing this? Now, granted, they're simple prints, but oh my God, that's insanity. And essentially, all he did was just use the frames of an X5S. So. But I will say that my X5S, I definitely do miss that printer. It was definitely a unique and cool printer. But yeah, by the time I was done with it, it wasn't Trunksy anymore, because I would suggest an Ender 5 Plus over a Trunksy, or any Creality machine over any Trunksy, to be in all honesty. Now, I know they're trying to make a comeback, but they need to fix their stuff, because it is a disaster. The other thing is the bed system. The heater for the bed, I think, was an issue. It's been a while since I played with that machine, but I remember having dual power supplies because it was so bad. So, do I ever use water washable resin? No, I don't. First off, I don't like using it because people abuse it. So it's just kind of a personal preference. And secondly, it's the most brittlest resin out there, so it just doesn't work. Now, with that being said, there is one water washable resin that I would suggest for those who are using it. And that is yeah. That is Ministry of Resin. That's probably the best water washable resin I've ever used. It's a resin that actually holds up. So I live in Chicago, where temperatures fluctuate on a constant basis. And no matter what the print was, whether it be hollow, solid, small, big, thin, thick, whatever, always, no matter what water washable resin I would use, it would be okay for about 3 months. And then after that,
it would start cracking. And the only way to get around that is if you were painting it. Now, at that time, I only had raw prints. I never painted them. So if you're painting it, you might be okay. I don't know. I still seen some people that have some issues. And then the other issue is because it's water washable and because the temps fluctuate so often here and the humidity gets so high because it's a water-based type resin, it literally can blow the cap off. I'm not even joking. And I've seen a lot of posts like that where somebody's shaking their bottle and it just everywhere because the top, there's too much pressure in it and the top just blows. So it's kind of a hazard. But again, that's few and far between, and it depends on how you store it. So I'm not trying to wean you away from it, but yeah. All right, guys. So on our YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook stream, I'm gonna basically end this, and then I'm gonna end our TikTok stream. Sorry, it's getting kind of late. I should probably try and get some sleep. But first, we're gonna set up the Mighty here. I'm gonna take this print off, see how it goes. But essentially, you guys saw what we were accomplishing out here on the live stream. I know it wasn't what we were trying to get to, but essentially, you know, you guys got the gist of how to calibrate resin to an extent. Even though we didn't finish calibrating the resin, but you got to see what you're looking for, at least on that print. And I do highly suggest using this this calibration print for anything that you guys are using. This is the frozen calibration print, and it's probably one of the better ones out there, in my opinion. Super simple to print, takes about 20 minutes max on most printers, and yields some really instant results so you can see where it's going. So with that being said, if you guys want to check out the JAYO resin here, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. I'll leave a link down below in the description of the YouTube that we're on. So if you guys want to pick this up, it will be my affiliate link to Amazon. And just like I said, it's not just for that resin. Anything that you use to search in that affiliate link and you buy, I basically get a kickback. So that literally means anything that you guys use that for. It can be for a set of golf clubs, pair of gloves, winter jacket, anything. Like, use it. Use it, use it, use it. Go ahead. You're not having anything, but you guys give me a little kickback. That's all I could ask for. But again, if you don't use it, that's perfectly fine. I don't care. Go ahead and buy it at your leisure on your own stuff. Not the end of the world, but hey, if you guys do use it to its fullest extent. Well, might as well not. You know, it doesn't hurt. Doesn't do anything for you guys. It does everything for me. That sounds kind of selfish, but we'll just leave it at that. So if you see paintball stuff, it's probably me. Ooh, awesome. So I still have my P90 with ion internals in it, and it's gated for a left-handed person. You can check out on my YouTube some of the videos I played on, like the Nuketown map at Paintball Explosion back. Oh God, that was like, oh my God, that's almost 10 years ago now. Oh. So I played with some of the big guys in the paintball world. Wolf, you know him. Who else? Midnight Angel. He's a local guy to me. God, I forgot some of those guys' names I used to play with, but Wolf was one of the big ones. So I just bought $600 or stuff yesterday using your link. Are you serious? That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Thank you. I'll be honest, I didn't check my link to see if anybody used it for Amazon Prime Day, but that's awesome. Thank you. I don't know what I'm gonna get a kickback, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a giveaway or something if that's the case. So yes, I will do that if we get down to it. So maybe we'll buy a first resin printing bundle for someone if
if we get a lot of money and I don't really need it all. Because I'll be honest, I probably need like maybe $60 to $100 a month, if that, just to buy miscellaneous crap if I need it. And even that is a lot. But anything after that, we can go ahead and do a giveaway. So that'll be all thanks to anybody that uses that link. So again, thank you very much. And until next time, guys, happy printing. And yeah, enjoy it.